Do, 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 do. Okay. What's up? What up, everybody? What up? What up? Welcome, welcome. I just tried to educate a group of people that were having an argument over Trump and Kamala. Like they booted me out the live. They booted me out because I didn't support their Trump is the best idea. So I figured, since it's Sunday, we'll talk about religious things. How about that? Did you know that it was ISIS that was on the Bible before it became Jesus? Do you know what the semantics in the building of the churches is really utilized for? What they're actually using Tartarian technology to do to people in the churches? Do you know that this is subliminal programming that is done on a molecular level to get you addicted to negativities that you didn't even realize that you were going through when you go into these buildings? You see, what most people don't realize is that a church is a building that is created for frequencies and vibrations. And the thing is that the church is a place, it used to be a place of healing before it became a religious temple. Right? Before, this is what you would think was your hospitals. Because if you didn't recognize, right, the semantics that are located on the old churches, not the new age ones, the new age ones that look like shit in boxes and stuff like that, that's not the same thing. Okay, that's just a box of bullshit. The old school churches, however, are aligned. If you pay attention, they're lined up so that the sunlight hits them at specific times. Usually that'd be the time when you'd find somebody standing on the altar. Right? And the reason behind this is because the stained glass windows that are in the churches are actually tuning devices. Right? You see, if you understand frequency and vibration and how to manipulate DNA, this is your DNA. Right? This is your DNA right here. Okay? This is what your DNA strand looks like when you're looking at it from the top down. It gives you perfect sacred geometry. The same way that you find on the head of all the churches of the old school buildings when they were using stained glass. Now, understanding that color itself is actually light that's in a certain speed lets you know what temperature gets generated out of each color and what speed that the light is traveling at. Okay. Now, because of that, right? So when you have something like a stained glass window, what you're looking at is light programming. Okay. This is ancient technology. It's not new age shit. They haven't figured this out in this generation yet. Okay. That's why they kept these old school buildings, because inside of these old school buildings, the building itself is a building of conduction of energy. And the light passing through the stained glass windows alters the type of frequency that goes inside the building. Now, in new school churches, it's the typical shit buildings that we have today, which are all square and they're all squares and rectangles, right? So they don't have the same resonance that these older buildings would have. Now, the thing about that, right, is that this is genetic programming on a molecular level. All right. Now, back in the olden times, this was a building of healing. That's why people were used to going to churches in the first place, because these were the temples that were created in order to heal the body. You'll find that there will be several large temples that'll be created. They'll have all types of cathodes. The cathodes are the circular, almost watchtower looking things that come off of each of them, typically where the bells are held at, right? The bell would ring, right? This is why you have all the bells. The bells would ring in the steeple, which would send the energy down into the building, and it would be funneled through the building. And so you would know, because everybody dealt with nature and sacred geometry and frequency and vibration before everything went all square and box. So you got to realize that people would know by looking at the actual part of the church where the stained glass was, what part of them it would be fixing and altering. You understand? So this made it so that the church indeed was in fact a place of healing, but it was done on a molecular level, and you can get anything fixed. If you've ever been to a church, right? Have you ever been there and, you know, a certain time during every day, they call people up to the church? They're like, it's time. Let's get all our new members to come up, right? And they want you all to go stand at the altar, right? At a very specific time, they want you to go stand at an altar. Why? Because you'll be receiving all that energy that's pouring in from the stained glass window directly focused at the altar, the place where you get alternated, where the alternating currents take place, reshaping the body. Now, if you've ever been to a church and you've seen somebody go up there and do this, I know because when I was little, I went up and did it myself. If you've ever seen this take place, what you notice is that as soon as the preacher touches the person that's standing on that altar, they typically have a blackout session. Right? Why is it that they would have a blackout session? The reason is because a focus of energy at one point resonating through the body puts all of your senses through the roof. And so what happens is you have a shock to your system when you get a physical touch from somebody. Now, I remember when I was a little kid, I went up to that point and, you know, it felt like everything reset in my system all at once, immediately. It was like this wave washed over me. Right, I was up there, and it felt good when I was standing up there. But as soon as the preacher or whatever he was touched me, everything went blank. My sight went out, my hearing went out, my fucking everything just for a few seconds, it just shocked out. You understand? Now, as an adult, I understand why that took place, because it's an overwhelming of energy within the body. Right. And so that makes perfect sense, because when your body has too much energy going in one place, you're usually dealing with pain or something of that nature. Right. Which makes you extremely sensitive all over your body. Why? Because it's a bunch of parts of your body that are being activated at once. That's what the pain reaction really is. Right. So when I was up at that altar, and the dude touched me on my head after receiving all of the energy that was coming from that. It shorted out my system for a couple of seconds. Everything went blank, literally wiped out. It just wiped out and reset. All right. Now, this is the thing, right? Well, how do you do this at home? You can't, because unless you live in a Tartarian style house, this isn't something that you're going to be able to accomplish at your house necessarily. You can do a mimicking of it by getting 6 speakers and putting them around you in a perfect, draw some sacred geometry on the floor and put the 6 speakers at different points on the floor and play each frequency as a resonance of 9, right? Like you would do like 3, 4, 5 on one of them, or I'm sorry, not 3, 4, 5. It would be 3, 2, 3, 2, 4, you could put on a frequency. You could put, okay, so you like variations of the number 9. Okay, that's what you're aiming for, is variations of number 9, and you put those around you in a 6 pattern, and sit yourself in the middle of that and let all of that resonance come from all those different directions. That's a way that you can charge up in your own home necessarily, but sunlight is your best supercharger. So this is the thing, right? So what is actually going on inside the church, right? So let's understand some things here, right? This is psychological programming on a molecular level is what it is, because the church building is a building of science. Okay, that's nature's science. So what happens is you go inside of a church, and what you do is you learn about good and evil, right? And when you're learning about good and evil, realize that the entire time that you're learning about good and evil, your energy is being shifted from being inside of the building. That's why all churches are built with a certain resonance inside of them. It keeps the energy in. If you ever walked past a church in the middle of their dances and shit like that, you'll notice that the walls fucking rumble like crazy. You'll notice that you can hear it for miles around. You'll notice that, you understand, this is because it's a building of resonant frequencies. And so it's made to magnify and intensify because it's supposed to be a place of healing, right? So what is going on now is setting these people up for a negative, right? Why do I say that? Because while they're sitting in a building, having their DNA reset every Sunday, every time that they go inside this building, it's a reset of the DNA. That's why church is always held early in the morning and to the point to where around noontime is the time that you'll find most people in churches. The reason behind that is because that's when the light is in position to fuel the energy of the building. That's why you find the big congregations are always on the day that everybody's off, and it's at a time that the sun is moving upwards, making it so that the light is passing through the building as it goes. So psychologically speaking, what's happening is people are getting trained to be addicted to negativity. Now, let me explain this to you, right? All right. So let's see. Where should we start with this? Yeah. All right. So we'll start with this part, right? I want you to realize something, right? Sorry. One second. Okay, so you have to look at things from nature and from frequency and vibration to understand the shit that's going on. Right? Now, water is tested to hold memory. Now, I want you to look at how the water takes shapes. If you notice, when you're having positive things, it's almost the same as your DNA structure. Okay, it's different variances of DNA structures, right? But when you're creating holy water, however, right? Holy water is water that is separated. Right here, matter of fact, let me show you the actual, go to the anatomy. I'm going to show you exactly what's taking place in the church and why people in the church are so unruly when they come out of it. Because that's the only place they're ever going to feel good, because of the fact that the building resonates the way that it does. So they build up an addiction to it because of the ideas that are being put in their heads during the time that they're getting this upgrade to their genetic coding. Because the upgrade that they're getting is actually a downgrade. It's not an upgrade. Where the fuck? Right here. Pink. Okay, so look, check this out, right? This is holy water. Okay? This is holy water right here. Hey, peace and love. Okay? That's holy water. This is, sorry. This is what water looks like in your system when you're having so-called evil thoughts, right? Now, I want you to think about this for a minute, right? I want you to look at how evil creates a hole in the water itself. And see, basic understanding of the anatomy of man. Your body is filled with H3O2, that's structured water. Okay, it's not filled with H2O. Okay, H2O and salt are the result of breaking down the H3O2. The conductivity of it is dispersed, and you then get salt water, which is what you cry out of your face. Okay, that's why you have salt water that pours out of your face, is because you're breaking the actual water that's necessary for your body to resonate properly. So this is the thing, right? If you take a look at this, right, I want you to notice that angel, right? Remember, I told you it's holy water. Angel is the same thing as evil. You see how it creates the holy water? Now, the reason that angel creates holy water, which you find inside the church, right, is because while you're speaking of something positive, but on the back end, subconsciously, you're thinking of what? A demon. When you speak of Jesus, you think of what? Hell. When you speak of God, you speak of the devil. So every time that you're learning these things and you're taking these things in, what you're actually doing is creating holy water, literal holy water. Okay. Now, the thing is because, look, I want you to recognize something, right? This is the difference between just having regular fucked up thoughts, right? Just having regular fucked up thoughts creates a hole in the water, but as you see, it's kind of scattered. Nothing's really, this is a cell of water. So look, right? So think for a second, right? If you notice, this isn't as well put together. It's just broken. Right? But if you look over here, when you think of angel, right, it gives you the same effect, but everything's clumped together, making large disbursements of energy, right? There's actual conductivity that's possible through this, but there is no conductivity in this. Okay? There's none whatsoever here, and there is here. Now, what does this imply, right? That's the question, right? Now, I want you to notice that once you start praying, right? Once you start praying, it's the same effect. It's now this is what negative water looks like. This is what fucked up water, bad thoughts and shit looks like after you pray, right? If you notice, it gets similar, right? It gets similar to what you create when you're having positive thoughts, clear thinking, appreciation, truth, and things of this nature, right? If you notice, it's similar to it. You see how it creates that structure around it? That's the same thing as the holy water. But if you look, right, notice how there's chunks that are broken off everywhere. Notice how there's no even distribution of pattern. Notice how it's all, you get what I'm saying? Look at the difference between the polluted water versus positive. Notice how everything's connected. It's almost perfectly symmetrical on each one of the flakes, right? See that? All right. Now, why is this important? Well, this has to do with raising your frequency and your vibration. Because if your body is full of this, right, that means that what? One, the largest part of energy is unable to be passed through your body because it's broken, it's scattered. Two, this means that your energy isn't going to be able to flow properly. It's going to be sporadic all of the time. And what that does is leads you into what? A lower frequency, right? This is how you raise and lower your frequency. This is why your thoughts, it's mind, body, spirit, because your mind has to be fixed first, right? You can't get into heaven if you're polluted with good and evil, right? The thoughts of good and evil that take you out of heaven. That's maturing into being an adult, is learning the good and the evil. All right. So I want you to realize that you're going to have a proper disbursement and even distribution of energy when you're positive. Okay. Now, the thing is when you're negative, this is what you're creating. Right? You see these different fucked up structures, right? Okay. So what happens is your body's frequency lowers. Right? Because the waters travel, right? It's your cerebral spinal fluid that experiences it first in the brain. Okay. CSF, cerebral spinal fluid. Now, the cerebral spinal fluid that's in your mind, when you're having a thought, your thoughts go outward. Okay. They go up and out. Okay. So this changes the water that's in your system. And when it goes through, no, meditating cannot change this outcome. Don't fucking tell people stuff that you're just guessing at. The water is going to pass down your spinal column and then return back, which is why your negative thoughts are on your mind. They're not in your mind. They're on your mind. It's because those negative thoughts are being stored in the water. You understand? Now, this is the thing, is no, you cannot fix this with meditation. Don't listen to these fucking people that clearly have not done any type of due diligence into looking into this and that are just following behind what the yappers say about things that they haven't clearly studied. The thing is that the only way that you can fix those negativities is through grounding. Grounding is the only way for you to restructure that negative water that's in your system. Literally. That's why you wear shoes with rubber soles on them, to stop you from grounding yourself while you're moving around. They have shoes that have wooden soles. They had shoes that had copper points in them, all things to make sure that you were being grounded as you moved. Okay? Grounding is touching your skin to the ground. That's what grounding is. Okay. When you do this, what happens is your body is regulated with the energy of the earth itself. The ground is a negative. If you put something copper in the ground and you attach that, if you take that pole and you attach it to a string that runs up into the sky with maybe a copper thing hanging off of it, kind of like what they say the dude that created electricity did, what you're going to find is that there's a positive in the air and there's a negative in the ground. Why do you think you have a grounding plug in all of your devices? There's grounding sockets. And if you go outside and look on the side of your house, what you're going to find is that grounding socket is tied to a copper wire that's coming out of your wall that's going into a grounded copper thing in the ground. This is why they took out the copper pipes, was because the copper pipes were actually cleansing the waters that were passing through them. All those minerals and shit that's building up in the copper pipes were healthy for you. It wasn't bad. That's what happens. You want your water passing through minerals and shit. Now, if you notice, since they took out the copper pipes, suddenly everything tastes like fucking tin and metal, even though they supposedly put fucking plastic down there. But that's neither here nor there. We're going to keep on going. Listen, right? The thing is that, right? So notice, right? I want you to think about this. So all the people of the church get holy water, right? The preacher blesses the holy water and it sits there in the thing for everybody. And they're also getting holy water within their systems, right? While they're receiving all that energy. Because while you're thinking, once again, I'm going to point this out one last time, right? I want you to notice, right? While you're thinking of angel, you're thinking of demon. While you're thinking of Jesus, you're thinking of the devil. While you're thinking of heaven, you're thinking of hell. This is why learning good and evil aren't natural things, because good and evil is subjective, and that's by the decision of the society as to what is going to be the norm for that place. So good and evil can't be is not a real thing. This is why you shouldn't judge people. You shouldn't judge people because their culture might tell them that something is okay that your culture tells you that isn't. And as much as you want to scream and argue that something's fucked up on one end, that's only because you've been taught that way in the society that you grew up. That's factual. And everything that you find that humans do, you can find in the animal kingdom. As fucked up as an act might seem to you, that's literally something that you're going to find in other animals in nature. So to judge somebody for a fucked up act, yes, I know that there's things that are atrocious and that are, I understand that. But you have to understand, generally speaking, most people in America have a dog or a cat in their house. Generally speaking, that's lunch in China. Generally speaking, we breed a bunch of cows all around this country in order to make people fucking hamburgers and steaks and things like that. But you go to India and that's their sacred fucking animal. Understand that what's right and wrong is decided by the society that you grow up in, not actual decisions of what's right and wrong. You don't have the ability to have that judgment. If you did, you wouldn't need guidance in the first place. I digress. We're going to move forward. So this is the thing, right? Let's get back in here. All right. So let's talk about the good and the evil, right? So when you're in church, no, you don't need a Torah. You don't even know how to read that book. So please don't come in here with your nonsense. None of that religious dogma works for anybody. Because it's not a religion. It was never a religion, but it got turned into one which removed all of the implications. You don't even know why they do half the things that they do. Perfect example. Everybody that goes by the Torah, they all dress the same. They all wear the same type of hats, and they always fucking... Now, if you ask anybody that studies these things, can I get to the point? Yeah, I can get you the fuck out. That's the point that I'm making, is I don't have to deal with shit. Listen to me, right? All the people that deal with the Torah, and it's not Torah, right? Let's pronounce it from where it really came from. It's Torah. Torah. The Torah book was a study of the toroidal field. Torah. Torah, the toroidal field that emanates inside and outside of the body. That's why the practices of the Torah tell you don't worship anybody. It also tells you they also have everybody wearing one cloth, one frequency, just the same way as I am right now, right? I got nothing but linen on me. Why? Because you don't mix frequencies. You don't mix the cloths. Why? Because it hinders the ability for you to bring in energy. Your cloth is a magnet for energy. The cloth that you wear, okay? You're a being of energy. You have energy and light inside of you, and you have a physical human encasing, okay? That's the difference. All right. So realize that your heart is a black hole. That black hole draws energy in. The mind lets energy out. Okay. That's your balance, your negative and your positive. All right. Now, the thing is that you have to realize the practices that they do inside of these religions. 99% of the people don't know the practices that they're doing and why they're doing it. They have them wearing all one cloth. If you go into any Jewish society where everybody studies and lives by the Torah, what you're going to notice is that everybody's always wearing a similar cloth. Right? The reason, first off, they have the synchronicity, which makes it so that they're what? They're not judging each other on, oh, you're dressed fancy today, or you're dressed nice today, or you're not dressed nice today, and you're not. You see, this is removing judgments that are unnecessary. That's what the conformity is, why that's a necessary part of their religion, right? You have to understand that all of these religious books are are based off of frequency and vibration and ancient teachings. They're not based off of this bullshit that they give you about people being in the sky and floating around and causing chaos and shit. It's a book about you. Now, the Torah will teach you how to regulate your toroidal field. How? By teaching you to bless all of your food. Why? Because when you unalive something, it dies in fear, stress, and all this other bullshit. But the thing is that that's not the part that fucks you up. The lack of energy that's in it is what actually fucks you up, because what you're doing is eating something that's in the process of the energy being used to consume and disperse it back into energy. And so that's not positive for you to consume. Okay. How do you make that positive for you to consume? Well, everybody grabs hands around it, prays on it, and puts positive energy into it. Speaking things of what? Saying things like what? Here, let me show you real quick. Let's go back to that fucking water chart. All right. Let me show you something real quick. I want you to think of it. Anybody know the type of prayers that are done? All right. Think about this for a minute. The prayers that are done are thank you, appreciation, honesty, eternal greatness, and, okay? So what you're saying is, what you're actually doing is what? Restructuring that dead meat and putting positive distribution inside the meat itself. You understand? That's why they have everybody praying over food. That's what it is. That is why that's why all of their food is kosher. They're all receiving, it's true alchemy, exactly, okay? So what they're doing is restructuring those negativities in the food, making it positives. Because once you've cooked that food, you removed the original structures, which means that now that it's cooked, it's all able to be altered. And so everybody has to come together and put a large amount of good energy into it. So once that's done, right? Now, mind you, I want you to think about this for a second, right? Where's my, just right here. All right, I want you to think about this for a second, right? So your thoughts go out of your head. Oh, bro, it doesn't matter which religion it is. None of them know why they're doing what they're doing. They're just doing what they're told because they're puppets, okay? Because you have to be a puppet to be able to accept a religion in the first place. That means that you were looking for an answer and they gave you an external one when it was internal in the first place. Now, this is the thing, right, is that your thoughts leave out of your head, right? Now, why do you think it is that the Jewish community is so good at getting things done They come to large collectives that come together. They're all wearing a hat, right? And that hat is made out of a material that increases the strength of the mind. They tell you, what they will tell you, oh, we wear this hat to remind us that there's somebody above us. That's a fucking lie. They don't even know what they're doing wearing that shit. The hat is put on the head because that increases the type of energy that you put out, which is when a collective consciousness comes together that shapes and molds the reality around you. This is why they're able to get away with so much shit. Now, you, being a normal everyday person, probably have a cotton baseball cap hindering your energy. You, being a normal everyday person, wear things like hoodies that are made out of cotton and linen and bullshit. These are all things. You can't cross the threads on cloth. The reason that you can't cross the threads on cloth is because once you do that, you're creating a mesh. And that mesh that you create has, instead of the energy having these natural gaps to pass through, when it's going through one cloth, there's always gaps that are in it, right? So when you take the two cloths and you mix them together, what you actually do is create an impenetrable mesh. It doesn't matter which kind of cloth it is. It doesn't matter what it is. If it's separate types of cloth, the fabrics of the structure create a mesh that makes it unable for energy to pass through. See, everybody's got you looking at everything backwards and upside down. You look at the heart as something that puts out a field. The heart does not. The heart has always been the magnet. Why? Because your energy came from your father in the first place. The heart was the organ that was created inside of the mother in order to bring things together. That's your negative. That's your black hole sun. That's what it's really all about, the black hole sun. Because when you're coming together in your mom, it's the heart that everything is being formed around. You understand? That's why we won't get into all of it. Look, why do you think? All right, look, right. I want you to look at the rib cage for a second, right? Look at the rib cage, right? Now, the heart sits right in here. Right behind this, your articular demifaucet, okay? It sits right behind here, right behind who? Tahuti, Thoth, okay? That's the beak of the Ibris right there. Now, the thing is your heart sits back here. Now, if you notice, there's a field that's being displayed by your rib cage. That's why your ribs are rounded on the outside but go into a center point, okay? That's all the energy going in towards the heart. Okay. And so when you use, yeah, exactly. Hospitals did use linen. You're correct about that. That was a very important thing. Because why? Because it's high frequency, which means that it's feeding your heart. Okay. The toroidal field that you have, they're giving you the wrong idea of it. They tell you about it and they explain it to you in a way as it's something that's expanding. That's fucking fallacy and bullshit. Your toroidal field never expands. Okay? It doesn't expand. You can raise the strength of it through the positivity, as I showed you, through the positive words and thinking, right? Now, why is it that raises and lowers it? Because the positive thinking creates positive nodes, which means that you have an even distribution of energy. When you start to have too much negativities going on, you're breaking the conductivity, the ability for the energy to pass through the body. So your frequency goes up and down depending on how much of the water that you have within you is structured properly. That's how your frequency raises and lowers. Okay? It's not some mystical fucking thing. All right? Now, it's just basic sacred geometry, biology, astrology, and all these things. It's the basics of all of this. All these things are the same thing in the first place. So realize, right? So all of that is going into where the heart goes. That's why at the bottom of the rib cage, even the bottom ribs go upward and in. Okay? Yeah, no, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about, James. I'll put the video on this profile. The heart is a rolled up fucking magnet. Okay. That's what it is. It's a rolled up magnet. All right. It unrolls and unravels. They don't like to show that here in the Americas because you would realize what they were talking about when they told you that God wrote everything down on a scroll. The scroll was the heart. That's why your heart is the thing that preserves you. Dog, it's a lot to get into. Look, okay, so look, we're just going to keep moving for a second. Right? Now listen to me, right? Hey, what up, cat lady? Now listen, right? So your heart pulls everything in. Bro, don't wear none of that shit, bro. Wear linen or cotton. Linen or cotton. Those are your two go-tos. Linen or cotton. Because you're not going to want to wear wool because wool is uncomfortable as fuck. They haven't found a way to make wool feel like it's not woolly. So your best options are cotton, which resonates around 100 frequency, right? 100 hertz, right? Where your body's normal resonation around 70 or 80 hertz naturally. That's your natural baseline energy level. Okay. Anything below that, you start to go into sickness. Now you understand why you get sick. Let me show you something. while they got you thinking that you're sick and shit. No. You can fix everything with this by understanding this. You'll never get sick again if you know how to reprogram your thoughts and restructure your waters. Ask anybody. Nobody's seen me sick in, let's see, what's the longest stretch we're on right now? Right now, I haven't been sick in probably about 5 years. Right? I just don't get sick. Okay, there's reasons behind. I can explain a lot of it, but you know we're gonna stay this right now. This is the thing, right? So by the positivity that you create, right, that creates an even distribution of energy. Now with that even distribution of energy, what is able to happen is what they tell you about in the Bible. You know, return to the land from whence they came. The word land is missing a letter. They took the G off of it. It's a gland. The energy starts from your brain, travels down through the body. You see, the heart pulls the energy in, and the brain is the thing that regulates and distributes it. Your heart is the thing that pulls it all in. You understand? It doesn't pump your blood. Okay. The blood is being pumped by the lung. Okay. The expansion and contraction of the lung, because your heart doesn't expand and contract. Your heart fluctuates due to the energy that it's bringing in the whole entire time. Okay, that's the fluctuation of the heart. The lung, when you breathe, because what you're doing, what the lung's true purpose is oxygenating your blood. So it's pulling when you're breathing out and pushing when you're breathing in. So what it does is it regulates it, okay? Look, I already know that the heart is a valve. I've just sat here and explained to people. Okay, I'll put the video up of the man that unraveled 1,000 hearts so that you can see the heart being unrolled. I forget what the name of the type of heart it is. Well, it's not a specific heart. The way that he does it has a specific name to it. Okay, so I forget what that name is right now. Now, this is the thing, right? And so the heart itself expands and contracts from the energy that it's bringing in. The heart is the thing that's putting the energy into the system that then goes up to the brain, where the brain then decides where that energy needs to be put. You understand? The heart runs off of the conduction of the waters in your body. Okay? Now, proof of this, right? Proof of this. Let me show you something. This is why people die from stress. Okay? Because when you're having evil thoughts, sick and fucked up thoughts, polluting all of your waters, you're putting stress on what? Your heart. Why are you putting stress on your heart? Because it needs to have that energy regulated back to it in order for it to work in the first place. It has to go back to it. And so when you're stressed out and having all these fucked up thoughts, hey, what up, Prince? And you're breaking all of the ability for your water to transfer in, for it to transfer that energy, your adrenal gland kicks in. This is why you lose your stomach when, okay, look, think about it, right? I'll give you the whole breakdown of the fucking how your system works. Look, listen. When you're having negative thoughts and shit, what happens? Your head starts to hurt first. Why? Because the water's breaking. All right? When that water breaks, it creates H2O and salt. It separates it. All right? It goes from that gelatinous form into the H2O where it's free flowing and the salt gets separated. So your head fills up with pressure. Keyword, pressure. Your head fills up with pressure because now something that was one is now being split into two and it doesn't have the room for it. So what happens is the first thing that happens is you start to get headaches. That's the first thing. That's why your mind is the first thing to go when you're pissed off at somebody, right? Because the first thing that happens is once the water is short out, you're unable to think. So you get into that frustrated, fucking aggravated shit because now you can't even fucking think straight, right? So what happens next? You get even more angry and more frustrated with the shit because you don't know how to calm yourself down. So what actually ends up happening is that broken water then gets dispersed through the body because you were told crying is a weakness. And you try to hold it in. Well, guess what? Now that you held that water in, it's going to start moving through your system. So after that pressure builds up in your head, you start to lose your hunger. Because your organs that you have your pancreas, you have your liver, you have your colon, you have your large and small intestine, your stomach, and you also have, I'm missing one. All of those organs require the energy that's traveling through you. Okay. So when you're having all those negative thoughts and things and you don't cry it out, then after you start getting a headache, the next thing that disappears is your hunger because your body's shutting down. You're getting ready to die and you don't even realize it. So what's happening is your stomach then shuts off. But then what happens? Right? At that point, when your stomach starts feeling a little queasy and shit, you start feeling a little bit queasy, a little bit lightheaded and tingly and shit. And then all of a sudden you're mad as fuck. Why? Because your emergency system kicked in. Your adrenaline kicks in to make up for the lack of conductivity that's supposed to be happening. That's your emergency backup. That's the emergency backup. Your adrenaline kicks in to keep your blood flowing properly. This is why you end up having heart attacks and things like that. Because if you're angry for too long, you're having large sporadic bursts, which is making your heart fluctuate all the fuck out of control. Right? This is why you don't want to be pissed off for too much. Okay? So your head fills up. You don't cry. Your stomach goes out. And your adrenal gland kicks in, which means that your body's already on its last leg right there. So what happens? You either short out and get so fucking pissed off that you can't see straight, you get into a fight, or you fucking pass out. One of the two. Those are your only two options. You either get into a large fucking argument and say a whole bunch of fucked up shit, or you end up fucking passing out afterwards, or you do both, or you get into a large fucked up fight and then you're lazy and tired and drained afterwards. Why? Because there's no conductivity left in you. So what happens is, what happens to you the next day? All that pressure that's built up makes it so that you can't move. You're sitting on the couch now, right? All that pressure from all that negative fucking water that you created, all that holy water in you, has got you feeling like you can't move. You need to depress your system. What happens when you're depressing your system? You have to sit down because you want to move. You think that you want to move. You think that you want to do shit, but you literally don't have the energy to. And you recognize this. You're like, man, I want to get up, but I just don't even feel like it. You don't have the fucking conductivity that's necessary for your system to operate properly. That's what's going on. So you get laid down for like a couple of days. Right? Think about it. You lay down for a couple of days. You become a couch potato. You just sit there and your fucking body is sitting there trying its best to regulate. Now, had this happened in ancient times when you were sitting down and laying down, you would have been doing so on the dirt or on the ground where you would have been getting grounded, where your water would have been restructured because your body is operating off of nature, not off of all this man-built shit. Okay? So the reason that it takes you so long to get past your depression is because your memories that are stored in that water are literally traversing your body over and over and over again. It's going to keep on fucking happening. Yes, Omar, crying for no reason is your body's natural defense to your negativities. That's your life preserver. The problem is everybody's taught that crying is a weakness. Oh, don't cry. Don't cry. Go do that in fucking public. Don't do that in public. Don't fucking do it. Don't let it out. You got to keep that in. You got to suck it up. You're strong. You're an adult. You can handle it. And da-da-da. No, you better let that shit the fuck out. You better let it out. That's the armpit of your face. All the toxins that you have around your heart and shit come out of your armpits. All the toxins and things that you have in your stomach, they come out of a hole called your butt. And your fucking, your organs. We'll just say organs. This is TikTok. So that's your fucking armpit for your face. Your eye socket is there to preserve your mind. That's why you feel like crying every time something fucking upsets you. It's because of the fact that it's trying to reserve you by removing that. Because your body can produce new water, but it's not conductive like it needs to be. Your body needs assistance when it's creating the H3O2. That's a difficult fucking process, right? Now, because of the fact that you're not getting any sunlight, because of the fact that you're also not grounding yourself, right? You have no contact with the earth. You're stuck inside buildings all day, right? And you haven't gone through a proper cleansing process. What that means is that you're storing all this negativity, right? Now, while you're storing all this negativity, it's resurfacing over and over again. You've got things that you've been carrying with you for years for the simple fact that you don't ground yourself enough to get it out of your DNA. You're going to create generational trauma. Because of the fact that you're not grounding yourself, you're putting that in your genetic coding, okay? It goes into your DNA. And it stays within your system. And this is why you're still mad about things from a couple years ago. Things can trigger things from all these different times and things like that. It's because you're storing all that negativity. You're building up a negative system inside of you when you're not doing these things. Okay? So if you don't ground yourself, what you're going to do is be passing on your trauma to your children. Now you see why it is that we have so many irately pissed off young children. If you remember, when babies were born before, they used to come out happy and fucking, like they would be happy and loving. Nowadays, a lot, like if you notice, the general fucking mentality of babies has shifted. When we were growing up, in the 90s and the early 2000s and things like that, the family dynamic, it was still there, and it wasn't built the way it was to attack you. And people were still going out and grounding themselves. Kids were still playing in nature all the time, and they spent most of their time doing this type of behaviors, right? Which means that they were getting grounded regularly. You don't have that now. So now what you have is a whole bunch of angry, pissed off fucking emotions that are being poured into your genetic coding, which is then being passed on to your partner and which is being formulated in the form of a human being. Now you have a bunch of grumpy, fucking angry, disgruntled babies, and nobody seems to know why. Now you know why. It's because of the fact that they passed on all of the negativities in their DNA. You need to put a stop to that. The only way that you can put a stop to that is through grounding. 40 days and 40 nights in the desert. What do you think they're talking about there? 40 days and 40 nights. Every month runs off of a 28-day cycle. That's almost 2 months worth of grounding. Why? Why is it almost 2 months worth of grounding that's necessary? Because your DNA resets itself every 28 days. Your body's constantly growing. That means that your DNA is constantly upgrading itself as it goes along. Right? Now, keep this in mind. Now, when you're thinking about this, realize that means that all the things that you're going through and that you're learning right now are being stored in that DNA as you pass through each month. What that means is that if you don't cleanse your system, you're putting that into your DNA. So when you ground yourself and you restructure that water, right? Because this is, remember, this is what happens when you are restructuring the water that's damaged by positive thoughts. That right there, okay? That uneven distribution, that jacked up fucking circuit is being created inside of your system, which is why people that go to church a lot are what? Highly fucking pissed off really easily, see demons and devils everywhere that they go, and think that everybody's evil, and they can't seem to get rid of these thoughts, okay? That's where the grounding is needed, okay? Amen is not a sun god. You don't even know what you're talking about, bro. Just relax for a second. I'll get to all of that stuff. Listen, right? These uneven distributions that are within. Sorry about that. I had a phone call come in. Look, if you ever notice, the people in church, they can only say about 2 or 3 things, right? Once they get razzled just a little bit, and it doesn't take much to get them fucking to get them going, right? Automatically, demons, devils, you're the devil, you're an evil, you're fucking. They just start rattling off. While they're in the process of rattling that shit off, if you notice, they'll get stuck on like 3 sentences. Why? Because that's a lack of energy. That's a lack of energy, which means that their body is now running on autopilot, the autopilot that was programmed in the church. That's that genetic programming that takes place in the restructuring of the DNA and things inside the church. From the semantics that are coming from the sounds and the organs that are being played, from the energy that's being regulated by the color of, look, you understand? This is why we got into this whole subject in the first place. You understand? Look, you see this? Color is energy that's traveling at a different speed. Okay, that's what color is. That's how you determine color. It's a frequency that's moving at a certain vibration, which is light that's in motion. Okay, that's energy in motion. Okay, it creates colors. This is why when you get really, really, really pissed off, you can see red. Bro, y'all not hearing me. Look. So now I want you to realize, right? Now I want you to think about this. They go inside the church, right? And while they're inside the church, you have all the resonances of the notes, right? The instruments that are being played and the people that are singing, right? And then on top of that, right, you have the vowels, right? The vowels from the singing. Okay? Notice how these are all basically creating, yeah, I got plenty of books. Right? This is a curriculum that I created for TikTok right here that you're looking at right here. This is people that have this curriculum are going to be going over to my YouTube channel to check on what I was speaking on so that they could take their notes. Now this, right, this is your DNA. Okay, this is your DNA right here. Okay, this is the way that the vowels come out. These are the notes that are played on the instruments. Okay, now, all right, George, I'll do this real quick. All right, look. All right, if you want access to my curriculum and the first book that I wrote that teaches you how to reshape your subconscious, just send us, we'll do 50. Do a $50 donation to the Book of Johnson on Cash App or Venmo, okay? And you'll get a folder that has a whole bunch of teachings for you. Okay, well, Jack, get the fuck out, Jack. Nobody cares. I don't have time for people that are uneducated and refuse to learn how their system works. Okay. Now, this is the thing, right? So when you're in the church, right, I want you to realize that the people are receiving a restructuring of DNA while they're inside the church. They're getting their frequency induced by the instruments, by the songs, the stories, and the light itself. So what happens is while you're getting positive energies, right? Because that's all positive energy. Yes, I'm 100% against the church. You can call me Jesus. Now, I want you to realize that while you're receiving those positive energies, they're talking to you about demons, devils, and all this horrific shit. No, this is not Luciferian doctrine, my friend. You would have to believe in religion to believe. You see how y'all are stuck on demons and devils? I just want to thank the people of the church for coming in here and verifying everybody for all the fucking, 300 witnesses that I have right now, how you guys are trained to cooperate. You're proving everything that I'm saying right now in this conversation. So thank you for helping me solidify these things for everybody that gets to witness your conduct. Now, Jesus was against the church too, my friend. He went in, kicked everything over, and told you to get the fuck out of that building. You don't find God in a house dwelt by hands. You find God in nature. Nature is the thing that's God's house, not the church. The church is the place where you go to get away from God. Period. That's the end of the story. I'm leaving it there. So while you're learning about all these, while you're receiving all this positive energy, right? While you're receiving all the positive energy from the instruments, from the singing, and from the stained glass windows, what is happening is they're giving you ideas of demons, hell, torture, pain, suffering, and things of that nature, which means that you become addicted to it. The reason that you become addicted to it, and why you'll walk around and you'll be like, oh, this is what they're doing. They're training that holy water into you. You understand? Because while you're receiving positive energy that's restructuring you on every level that's available, you're learning of negative things. Which is why a lot of people that come out of the church thinking that everybody's possessed by demons, the world is ran by the devil, everybody's acts are evil, and that only they can be saved, and that all these... Bro, that's all fucking programming that's happening because of the fact that... No, cursing is not a lack of knowledge, my friend. I promise you, I could teach you more shit than you ever even need to know, right? That's just your self-defense to hearing something that discredits and shows you the actual science behind what's actually taking place to you on a regular basis that you're subjecting yourself, your family, and friends to, and encouraging others to do as well. That's why Jesus told you, stay away from people in the church. They'll take you to hell with them. You don't look. If you're going to speak to me from a standpoint of Christianity, do it after you read the book. Don't do it from the shit that the preacher that gets paid by the government to tell you which scriptures for you to study gives you. You go and read that whole book and then come back to me. Okay? Now, this is the thing. Hey, peace, right? So this is the thing, right? While your DNA is being restructured, what's actually happening is that you're now being programmed to see negativities in everything that's good around you. Okay? See, the people in the Bible don't even know the book that they're reading. Just as I explained to you, the people in the Torah don't know the book that they're reading. Just like the people that are reading the... what's the Islam book? The Quran, right? You have the Torah, right? Remember, you have the Torah. Let me show you. Because, Ra is that energy. I don't know. They keep telling you about paganism and sun gods and bullshit because they don't want you knowing the truth. Let me show you. Ra is simply the energy that gets created by allowing light to pass through you or by having thoughts. This is what happens inside of your mind. This is the serpent that carries the sun that you see in all the things. It's not the sun that they're carrying, okay? It's the energy, all right? That is the energy that the serpent carries. It's not paganism. It's not worshiping of any fucking thing. Actually, it's understanding frequency and vibration, but that's a whole nother thing in itself. So when you're studying the Torah, what you're actually studying is the energy that is within you. Okay? Which universe? The Omni universe. That's which one. Okay? The Omniverse. That's the one that you're a part of. Okay? Now, the thing is that Ra is simply the energy. No, it's not the pineal gland. Stop speaking on shit that you don't know about. See, that's the problem, is there's too much misinformation floating around in the first place. Cool yourself off, sit for a minute, and I'm going to teach you some shit that you don't know. Okay? It's not your third eye. It's got nothing to do with none of that. Ra is the energy that is being created inside of your brain. Period. Okay? It's not the pineal gland. It's not your third eye. It's not your none of that shit, okay? This is what is known as your hypothalamus. Bro, if you think that I'm speaking negatively, that means you're too sensitive and you need to go and figure your shit out, okay? Grow up. We're adults here. Get it together. I'm talking negatively. You don't know what negative and positive is for you to even be discussing that conversation with me. Okay, now, your hypothalamus, right? That's this part in here. Now, what's around this, right? What's around this? Remember, this is Horus right here. Horus is an owl, by the way. He's not a falcon, okay? The falcon is the thing that blots out the sun, not the thing that allows you to see in the darkness. And in order for this to go through your body, you have to be able to see out of the darkness and into the light. You have to be able to traverse from the heavens down to the earth and back. It's the same thing. It's the same thing that your thalamus does. This is the thing that controls the regulation of everything through the body, okay? Now, inside your thalamus, right, you have what is known as Amun's horn. Amun. Amun. Now, let's say it correctly. Let's not say Amun, right, because that's English. Let's not say Amen, because that's Greek. Let's say Amun. You know, the actual way that you're supposed to say it, which is where your ohms came from, which is the thing that generates energy on command. Amun creates a frequency and a vibration inside of your head. And if you haven't noticed, even when I said that, if you're holding your phone in your hand, you felt your phone vibrate. That happens inside of your mind when you're saying Amun. Now, Amun is a frequency that if you repeat it several times to yourself and say it correctly, you're going to get what you call your little goosebumps, right? The goosebumps will shoot down through your entire body. Why? Because you're generating a large amount of energy in your mane at that time. Now, Amun is what? What is Amun really? Hold on. Well, let me show you like this. Oh wait, no, we'll leave it on that. Leave it on this. Go like this, and then go in here. Don't mind. This is the next book that I'm putting together. Let's see. What is Amun? The owl, right? The owl moon. Owl moon. The owl moon. It's the same thing. Okay. Now, these things are new. Put your faith in Jesus. See, here y'all go with y'all Jesus shit. You're gonna make me look. It's Sunday. I'll tear your whole religion to pieces, my friend, because you don't even know why it is that you practice the things that you practice. Okay, so you don't want to go that route with me. I'm not the one for that. Now, let's get into this over here. Let's see. Beep. So, everything that you learn in your religion, you learn from this right here. Most of it came from this little thing right here. Everybody's seen this. Put a 1 in the chat if you've seen this before. Now, have you seen this before? Put a 1 in the chat if you've seen this before. Okay. Of course your cat's losing it. You don't want cats around you, my guy. You want dogs around you, not cats. There's a reason why they tell you that dogs are man's best friend. A dog is a being of energy and frequency that goes and runs around outside and collects that energy and brings it back to you and recharges you when you don't spend enough time outside. You need a dog in your life, not a cat. Cats are full of parasites and fucking it's this whole thing, bro. You don't even want to get into it, but go get you a dog. You'll feel better. No. I don't want to hear that shit about their purr doing anything. They tell you the opposite of every fucking thing. Go get you a dog. Now, listen, right? Because the dog is the thing that regulates your frequencies. Okay? These are the watchers. Shut up, bro. You don't even know. This is your Bible. Wherewithal shall man be led by the word to be cleansed. Let me show you that this is your Bible real quick. Okay, we're going to break. If y'all don't mind, give me 2 seconds so that I can bring the religious people up to speed real quick. Okay, let me just show you something real quick. Okay, now, let's see. First off, let's go to... Where is Anubis? Because without seeing him first, you won't understand this, right? You got to get your mindset right. Your mindset. See set right there? Set. Set is right here. Okay? It's not a fucking god. So okay, look, this is what we're going to do. First, we're going to hit these things up that you keep claiming are as fallen angels and gods and things. Once again, okay. Amun, said to be the creator god by what you've been taught. Well, Amun is the hippocampus, which is the C4 of the hippocampus, which is the thing that controls your cognition, your abilities to think, walk, act, move, and everything like that, comes from Amun first. You know, the one that creates, the creator. Now, after that, it passes through your what? Your foramen. That's all throughout your entire system. Okay? Bro, stop with the draconian shit. I'll get into all that. Just let all of that mythology go out of your fucking head for a second. I'm going to give you some reality here. Okay? Now, this is your vertebrae or your ankh. You see the ankh? Okay. Now, this is also a lion. This is like two lions that are sitting here, but that's a whole nother thing. This is your vertebral foramen. This is your neural foramen. And that goes down to the greater and lesser sciatic foramen, which are all of the holes, in your body that the energy has to transfer through for you to function. Amun had a child named Osiris and Isis. Why did he have Isis first? The reason that he had Isis first, you know, Genesis, you know, don't forget that this is where your Genesis comes from, okay? Genesis. So Isis, right, the ontogenesis is the developmental growth. That is the biological structuring of something where the atom is splitting and growing into two parts and continuing growth. So your entire life, you're going through Genesis, okay? Now, while you're in the book of Genesis, I want you to remember that while in the book of Genesis, you learn the process of Moses or osmosis, the transference and cleansing of your bloods, okay? The moving from one side to the other, evening out the platelets. Okay, so what you're learning about is the Lamb of God, which is the lamb, which is your brain, which is why he's a shepherd, a herder, right? That goes and speaks to a burning bush, which is your fucking cerebellum, which is the emotional reaction to the memories that you're having. And he goes to deal with the people that are worshiping the golden ox, right? The golden ox. What is the golden ox? The golden ox is your reproductive organs. Hold on, did I put that picture on here? No, I didn't. We'll get to the ox later. All right. Get it? Ox later, oscillator. All right, look. So, right. And then he went and had the speaking to the serpents, right? And he gave you the word of God that was written on the what? The lungs, where the words come from, where it all originates from. So you realize that you're learning. Why do you have to learn about this? Because in order for your body to go through osmosis, you have to what? You have to climb the mountain, which is going outside. And what did God tell Moses to do when he climbed that mountain? Take your fucking shoes off. This is a holy place. So he took his shoes off and grounded himself. When he took his shoes off and grounded himself, he sat there on that mountain getting grounded, right? Restructuring the waters that were making it so that he could cleanse out his blood. Now, that happens, and he turns around and gives that to all of the people that are worshiping the golden calf. Why are they worshiping the golden calf? Because the calf is your reproductive organs. That's why you got the Bible in the first place. Okay? Because your Bible is about the Alpha and the Omega. That's your upper and lowercase a, which is the ox in Phoenician times, where all of this shit came from in the first place, okay? You get the Alpha and the Omega of the worship of Baal, the false deity. Alpha, Omega. That's your Omega symbol right there. Look. That's your Omega symbol. Capital and lowercase a. What is the lowercase and capital A? Come on, this Sunday. We're going to church today. So, if you notice, right, everybody always wants to stop at Hebrew. The reason that everybody wants to stop at Hebrew is because that is the Omega, Fred. Clearly, you don't know what the Omega looks like. Now, if you notice, the Alpha in Hebrew is what? The ox. The Alpha is the ox because Alpha comes from Alet, which comes from Aleph. The Aleph is the phonetics where it comes from. So you get a story about a Bible because what did the ox represent in ancient times? The ox represents your male and female reproductive organs, or the Bible, Baphomet, Baal. Now, Baphomet is what? Said to be the god of the ancient times that turns in. No, Yahweh is a fucking dragon, my guy. Go read your book again before you tell people what to do. Now, the ox that you get in the Bible teaches you what? In the Phoenician times, they tell you that the ox was the they would sacrifice the child to the ox, right? The first son would be sacrificed to the ox in order for the salvation of the city for the season, right? Kind of how like the first son of God gets sacrificed in the Bible to be the salvation for everybody. Same exact story. Okay, I have to show you the Alpha and the Omega. Hold on one second. Just hold on, my lost little friend. First off, I want you to notice something right here. That's your Omega symbol right there. That's also your ox. That's your ox. Now, if you don't know what the Omega symbol sounds like, because apparently you came from the church, so I would understand that you have a limited education, right? So that's your Omega symbol right there. And yes, it came from Greek times because the Greeks studied in ancient Egypt. Now, there's your Alpha and your Omega. You're going to tell me that that's not your lowercase a? That's not a lowercase a? Are you sure about that? Are you sure about that? The only reason that you're saying it's not is because you're from the church, which means that you're put under a bunch of spells because you got scriptures, which are spells that got put on pictures. You see, my friend, I want you to notice something, right? Let me teach you some shit. Okay, we're going to go back to that lesson here in like a couple seconds. Don't forget to tap the screen, people. Now, let me show you what actual spear rituals look like. You see how they're carrying all these spears, all these different spears, right? They tell you in the Bible, let thine eye be single, right? Where you see dual eyes at on here? You don't see none on anything on here. There's only single eyes in this whole entire thing. And look, there's all kinds of spears everywhere. Why are all these spears on here? You know, the spears, when you're learning about a spear ritual thing, you need to understand what kind of spear ritual you're talking about, where the birds of the heavens and the beasts of the field are there to teach you, right? And you would have to know about nature, and you would have to know God in order to be able to see these things, because God is nature. And so if you knew the nature of the creatures, you would know what it is that was trying to be taught here, which means that this is, in fact, a scripture. This is a spell that has pictures, right? Now, the scripture of the spear ritual that's taking place here has to do with what? See this man in blue? It's not because people were fucking blue. Stop believing. Please stop listening to people that tell you this shit. You've never seen a wall king spirit about living waters? Right? Don't they tell you in the Bible about walking in spirit and receiving those living waters? No, demons aren't blue. Shut the fuck up, my guy. Like, stop with all the fear bullshit. This is why y'all have so much problems with everything. Okay? Now, if you notice, you got ISIS sitting all around them. All right? It's the same person over and over again. Why is it the same person over and over again? What did I tell you ISIS was? ISIS is the developmental growth. So you notice how she's carrying something from the nerve stem or the spear, and she's putting that into the lower portion of the body, because this is your femur, okay? He holds on to the femur because this is something that's taking place in what? Your womb, your ship. There's a vessel, okay? It's not some floating thing that goes in the fucking sky, okay? No, it's not sacrificing kids. Stop believing those stories. That's what these crazy ass fucking people believe nowadays, okay? Now you see how she's carrying the charge, right? You see that charge that they're carrying? Notice how she's grounded, right? Okay. Now, I want you to check this out. So what do you have? You have, now I just showed you that Amun represents the brain. So why would there be two sets? Because you have two sides to each brain. You have four parts of the brain: your frontal, occipital, perennial, limbic, and the cerebellum. So you have the energy that's being transferred through the serpents. Those are your veins. And as it's transferring through the serpents, it's going down your spinal column through your nerve stem. This is the nerve stem, you know, your tree of life. And so as it's doing so, it's going down towards the hips. The frog is the representation of the hips. Now, as it's going down through the hips, it's doing what? It's combining. It's a mixture. Notice how you ever put oil and water together? You'll see the little droplets as things come together. Once it's mixed together, it then what? It then traverses from the hips by the frequency back into the womb, the ship, the vessel, the body. Okay? Now, once that happens, the action that's carrying that water through the vessel actually becomes something being infused inside of the living waters. Why? Because this is fucking childbirth. That's what this is. This is childbirth. Now, this is also sacred geometry. This is also frequency and vibration. This is also where you get your 369 from, right? Because you have 1, 2, 3. Positive. 1, 2, 3. Negative. Negative. Positive. Positive. Negative. Not touching. Negative. Touching. Positive. Dog represents tongue. Tongue is frequency. Frequency carries energy. The 3 coming together, right? Always hear about that 3, right? So in that 3, you've got what? A multiplication, right? The 1 and the other, both carrying charges. Okay, the feather is the muscle. Muscle is action. Action is a charge. A charge is an action. So you have the 1, 2, 3, the 1, 2, 3. Now, together, that creates what? 6. That's addition. Now, the thing is that these are multiplying and creating a new vibration. How do beetles fly? They don't fly with their wings. Beetles vibrate. Okay? They vibrate. That's how they lift off. That's where it's levitation. It's not fucking flapping wings and making it work. So you see the vibrations that are coming off of it into what? Oh, look at that. Your omega. Now, the thing is that that's your alpha right there, upside down. That's your omega right here. Okay? So you have it going from 3 to 6, but it's being multiplied. So since it's being multiplied, that's what? 3 times what? 3. That's your 369 right there, right? Now, the frequencies that are being created off of this are the things that are holding on to the negative and the positive, which means that these are charges that are coming together to create a what? An arc. This is the arc of the covenant. Now, through that, you have the energy that's being passed into, right? That's going, see how it's passing through it, going up towards the top? Notice how it goes from the bottom, right? Notice how she's going from the bottom, and then she's going up to the top. No, it's not 3 times 6, my friend. It's 3 multiplied 3 times. Keep up here. Now, so what you have is a building process. Okay? Now, over here, you have the paddles that steer the boat. The paddles that steer the boat are done by who? Horus. Why? Notice how he splits into 2 through the serpent, right? Why? Why is that? Because you have what? 2 thalamuses. You have 1 on each side. One controls the way that things go. One, you understand? It's the left and the right hemisphere of the brain steering the ship. Okay? So, no, it's not subjective, my friend. This is knowledge. You're just mad because this is your Bible. This is your Bible. Okay? The dog represents the tongue. Deliver my soul, my darling, from the dog and the power of the double-edged sword, the tongue. This is your Bible. Okay? Death and life are weighed at the scale of the tongue, right? Right? Think about that. Death and life weighed at the scale of the tongue. Ugh. Let me just move a little bit of stuff real quick. Let me show you something real quick. This is death and life being weighed at the scales of the tongue. Okay? This is what they're talking about. This is the scale of the tongue. Your scale of tongue, your skeleton, okay? That's this, okay? Now, understand that on the scales, you have the heart, you have the mind, you have the action, or you have your intent, you have your decision, and you have your manifestation. Right? Now, All of these things are found inside of your Bible because this is what they come from. Because you got a Bible, which is scripture, which is spells that are put on pictures. The spells that you were given inside of the Bible is that these are gods and things, but these are the things that the people learned in order to get that Bible together in the first place. Because it's all based off of sacred geometry. So give me 1 second. We're going to set this back up. Now, the Bible's not older. Shut the fuck up. You don't speak nonsense, bro. This is what's wrong with y'all from the church. Y'all can't control yourselves. Look, I want to show you something, right? So, all right, who we gone over? All right, so we went over Isis, right? The developmental growth. This is all out of your medical books, right? And then after Isis, you have her coming together with Osiris, because Osiris is a representation. No, this is definitely not the fucking Book of Wisdom, my guy. Even though that guy's got some good information in there, this is not him. This is my works, okay? Now, in here, you have Osiris, who represents your endocrine system. This is why you hear the story of Isis and Osiris being Set, going to the party with Set, and then Set splits them into the 14 pieces. That's your endocrine system, okay? That's what they're talking about. So, when you have... So what are you looking at? You're looking at developmental growth here, because this is the energy that's needed to create everything. This is the connection that bridges everything together. All right. So after that, he has a son, right? Remember, Amun. Oops, sorry. Hold on. Amun is the hypothalamus and the thalamus. Okay. That's why he has two sets of horns there, okay? Understand? All right? So the ram is the representation of your lateral ventricles, your anterior and interior horn. Go look up any fucking, medical diagram, because that's where I got all this from. Okay? Now, this, right? So that's your Amun, right? Now, and I want you to recognize that after Amun creates Isis and Osiris, you see why that's being done in that order, right? It's the body that's coming together. So what's the next one? They have a son named Horus. The son named Horus is the representation of the basal ganglia. The basal ganglia is the thing that controls the instructions that get sent out through the body. You know, the wise old owl that comes with the wisdom, right? The one that travels from the heaven down to the earth and then returns. That's Horus, right? Now they tell you that Horus and Set battled, right? Because Horus, the reason that Set is the one to split Osiris into 14 pieces is because Set is the representation of the pons and the medulla, the part that connects your brain to your brain stem, which is in fact why you have a mind set in the first place. Because what you guys don't realize is that what you're actually speaking right now is Phoenician. It is Phoenician. You're speaking Phoenician right now. That's why they don't want you finding any history on the Phoenicians. Put a 1 in the chat if you want me to prove to you that, in fact, you speak Phoenician. You don't speak English. I can prove it to you. Okay. All right. I want you to think about this. When you went to school, right? When you first started going to school, I don't even have to show you, but I will show you afterwards. But I want you to think about this for a minute. When you went to school, right? And you went to learn spelling and grammar, how did they teach you? How did they teach you? Matter of fact, if you're over 20 years old, right? You should have been seeing a commercial growing up, right? Right? You should have been seeing a commercial growing up called Hooked on Phonics. So the way that you learn to put your words and your sentences together for your comprehension was taught to you in phonics, or what others like to call Phoenician. Phonics is Phoenician. If you look up our language right now, right? The Phoenician language came before all these other languages, but you are told that you're speaking English, right? But yet you still go off the Aleph, the Bet. It's phonetics. Phoenicians are the ones that created the phonics, okay? The point is that these words that you're speaking are keys to the things that you're trying to understand. Bro, Asher, I've let you in here for long enough. Go back to church, bro. Okay, you can go back to fucking church. It's that simple, my guy. Like, I'm not here to free everybody. I'm only here to get together with people that understand the things that I teach, because those are the ones that are ready for this information. And okay, so the thing is, right? So what you're speaking is phonics. You're not speaking English. This is English. Okay? This is English here. God fed, let there be light, and there was light, and God fed light that it was good, and God separated the light from the darkness, and God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. So that English has a different type of wording in it than what you're speaking now. This is a different form of the same exact language. Okay? Right, it has its own cadence. Okay? Yeah, hold on, I gotta get rid of some more foolish individuals. Man, don't I have a mod in here? Hold on. Hey, y'all, give me 1 second. Let me find my regulars, because you know, every time I look in the comments, there's one of these fucking weirdos floating around trying to harass people and shit, trying to argue with people and keep them distracted so they can't learn. So let me, let's see. Who do we got in here? Who's in here that I know? Anybody? No, I'm not taking none of y'all fucking, nope, I'm not doing guest invites right now, nope. Oh, I know exactly who to make a mod. Where's that button at? Bink. I know exactly who will cut people off. I don't want none of that. Hey, there you are, guys. All right. Hey, what up, twin? Hey, you're in here too? I didn't see you in there. Hold on. All right, hold on. Let's get this going. Moderator. Bink. I might as well follow you back since we're being mods. All right, there we go. All right, so get rid of anybody that just get rid of them. We're not doing that today, okay? So, look. Anglo-Roman, right? Cuneiform, Persian, Samaritan, heretic, hieroglyph, demotic, Hebrew, Greek, Phoenician, Aramaic, okay? Notice how they try to give you this realigning of things. The Greek and the Roman and shit came from the Aramaic, which was the Phoenician, which turned into all that. This is all out of order. This whole list is out of chronological order. But you're not speaking what you think you are. If you want to speak English, go to Britain and see how well that gets you. See how much they want to listen to you there, okay? Because you're getting a form of Greek, right? And that form of Greek is also a birth from Phoenician. You get me? So that all keeps on going together. Okay? Now, let's keep on moving forward. So, let's see. We've already gone over Set. Who else do we need to go over? You got Anubis, right? The dog, which represents the tongue. Okay? Now, the dog represents your tongue. Deliver my soul, my darling, from the dog and the power of the double-edged sword. Life and death being weighed at the scale of the tongue. This is all references back to the dog and the tongue, okay? So the dog and the tongue are the things that create and control frequency, which alters the world around you. Why? Because the way that you speak to people, treat people, and conduct with people is always going to alter the way that things are going for you, okay? Well, I got to plug this bad boy in. All right, there we go. Now, is it plugged in? Oh, I got to make sure this thing's charging. Is it plugged in? Oh, I got to make sure this thing's charging. 1 second. All right, we're good. So, right? So when they're speaking about the dog in the Bible and why you see so many dogs, like dog-headed people walking around in ancient civilizations and things like that, it's not because there were actual dog-headed people walking around. It's because it's the representation of the living word. Okay? Now realize that a lot of places where you're finding the word God in the Bible, they're actually talking about the dog. Yeah, this is my TikTok curriculum, is what you're looking at here, right? Yeah, that's why you think being taught something is called dogma. Okay? Right, the Canaanite, right? Exactly. You see what I mean? You see how these things are starting to make a little bit more sense when you're given the key of the source where it comes from in the first place? This is, you will make more sense out of reading religious texts by understanding the nature of the animals and the things as, hold on a second, because, hey, let's not boot out 1 million people, okay? Like, if they're not talking shit, leave them. Okay? Now, look. Yeah, all bark and no bite. Bro, why do you think that? Why do you think they say that you growl at people, you snap at people? Why do they think that they tell you that, you know, you deserve it? Oh, you deserve a treat. What do you give a dog when a dog does something you want? You give it a cookie. Nah, fuck that. Block them. They got to go. No. We don't do mute. The reason that we don't do mute is because when you mute somebody, one, they go in my inbox and spam me with a bunch of religious bullshit. Two, they sit there and flag my shit and start trying to get my shit taken down. So no, we just get them all the way out. Right? They got to go figure it out and hear it through the grapevine when their time is ready. Okay? That's how that works. So no, you block them. Block. Not mute. Block. Okay? They're the ones that cost me my accounts and shit. So, all right, so let's see. We got Set, right? We already went over Set. So now you understand why you see statues where you'll have Osiris in the middle of Set and Horus. Okay? The reason behind that is because these are the information that's being passed through it to go throughout the body. You get me? So, when you're looking at it, right, realize that nothing that you were told was a god. That's a spell that you were put under. You understand? That spell that you were put under. If you don't understand that words are spells, why do you think it was called spelling in the first place? You were learning to cast spells. The spells that were put on you were the definitions, the definitions that were given to you while you were studying those words. Words are the what? The swords that cut deep into people. So when you were studying the definitions, let's see. Let's report this one. Hold on, let's just report him so we make sure he doesn't go in there and fucking do that shit to somebody else. We're gonna report you first and then block you. So, as I was saying, right? I want you to think about this for a minute, right? You have a spell for a deaf Phoenician, right? Think about that for a minute. You're learning phonics, which is Phoenician, the phonetics of the language, and then they give you deaf Phoenicians in response to that. Why would they give you deaf Phoenicians to the things that you're supposed to be learning? You're deaf to the Phoenician, the phonics, the phonetics, the things that hold the truth. Okay? So you got to realize the spells that are being given. So when they give you those spells, they told you that all of these things were gods and devils, demons, and that they were, you know, teaching you about deities and things. Why? If you learned about deities and things, you would never know the secrets that are left behind for you to know yourself. You understand? Because, let's go back to this one, right? Because these are the Phoenicians that created this, not the Egyptians. The Egyptians was the working class. That's why they were considered slaves, because they were the ones that were working for things that are provided by nature. These, on the other hand, are created by the Phoenicians, the Israelites, okay? The Israelite that gave you the Tu Ra, that gave you the Quran. Look, the Quran is not a religious book either. The Quran is a study of chronology. That's a study of timing, stars, and energy. That's why it's called the Quran. The core that's on, that's activating the heart. That's what happens after you go through the Bible, where you're learning the basic instructions to build your life energy. Okay, so as you're learning that through learning how to forgive, as you're learning that on how you're learning to regulate those energies, you know, from having them go from the glands from whence they came and then returning, what you're actually learning is the regulation of energy in the Bible. In the Torah, you're learning how to generate that energy. That's why in the Torah, they have you wearing the one cloth. They have you wearing the thing on top of your head and blessing all the foods and things like that, and not believing in outward gods. That's the Torah. So from the Torah, you learn how to build your toroidal field. From the Bible, you learn how to build your basic life energies. From the Quran, you learn how to control those energies so that you're able to start astral projection and protect yourself from different types of energies being attracted to you while you're doing this. That's what jinn are. The jinn is the negative energies. If you look at the Quran from a book that's talking about the physical world, you'll think that there's a man that got married to a child and that was having a wife with a fucking, what was she, like 12, 7 or some bullshit like that? I forget what the age is. I'm pretty sure it was 12 because that would make sense because that's a variable of 3. But the thing is what they're actually talking about is, wait, what is the number? All right, look, anyway, listen. Look, right? So what happens is he marries a young woman or a young child, right? That's what everybody freaks out. Oh, he's marrying a fucking child and he's being destructive and he's doing all this. That's because you're thinking of it from a physical standpoint. That's a book about metaphysics. That's energy. What that was him getting in contact with his feminine nature. And it was so young to him that it had to grow in fruition in order to be productive for him. It's nothing to do with a physical representation of a girl. That's the feminine side of man. So when the feminine side of man is grown into fruition, into maturity, he becomes more righteous in his ways, because that's the regulation of energy flow. The core, that's on, the core on, the heart, corazon, the heart that gets turned, that's the energy that fluctuates from the heart. Why? Because that's the thing that draws in all the energy to you, which makes it so that you're able to regulate your system, so that you're able to protect yourself in your astral projections, if you want to call it that. I just call it traveling. So this is the thing, right? Now, from that, you get books like the Bhagavad Gita, or however you pronounce that book. That book will teach you how to regulate those energies into being able to control the energies that are around you, right? In the physical world, you have the Buddhist book, the Tao, that will teach you how to find your balance. So that's how you regulate your energies in through the Qi. Okay, you'll also learn this in Kung Fu. If you take Kung Fu, you'll find that everything is about Qi work. This is why the acupuncture and things have to do with the meridian. What is a meridian? A meridian is something that you find on Earth. That's a ley line that has to do with energies that pass around the Earth. Why is that on the Earth? Because in the heavens, your head, where you have 2 hemispheres, the meridians aren't really there. They're down in the rest of the body. Okay, so you have to understand these things in order for these things to actually make sense to you. So it's when you start to put the pieces together, things just start to fall into place that you didn't actually think, right? So this is the thing, right? So there's this argument, right? Let me show you something real quick. The argument over where Jesus dies, why they can't get it right in the Quran or the Bible, is because it doesn't die at all. Let's see, let's go like this. Go like this, go to anatomy. Let me show you something. This is your boy Jesus. This is the serpent that's in the tree of life. Right here, that's your man on the cross. That's also the serpent that sits in the tree of life. I mean, the tree of knowledge. Okay, this is your tree of knowledge. This is the serpent that sits in it. That's your corpus callosum. Okay, the corpus callosum. It's the thing that bridges the gap between the left and the right hemisphere. Okay, It's all metaphors. It tells you in the Bible, it tells you that these are the metaphors and these are the allegories. They don't call it metaphors, they call it allegories in the Bible. And it tells you that, it'll tell you in certain parts of the Bible, these are an allegory, part of this story is an allegory, and this is an allegory. And then people just ignore that shit. Why? Because their preacher doesn't want them reading that. Because if they read that shit and actually understood that it was telling them that part of the characters in the story were just allegories to teach lessons, they wouldn't be able to convince them of gods and demons and devils and all of the things that are keeping them stuck in purgatory in the first place. Okay? You have to realize that the church is the last place that you're going to find God. Why? Because you're taught that everything is external. And you're taught that you have to accept bringing something in when it's in you in the first place. You understand? Oh, thank you very much, man. So, you see, if the Son of God is within you, right? It's in everybody. Everybody's the son of God. Why is everybody the son of God? Because that book is about your body. How are you the son? You're the only begotten son. I'll prove it to you right now. In the beginning, you were in the Father. The Father cast you out with all the other angels, and they fell down to the earth. Inside the earth, they had to go down, and then they were born again. This is why you only see pictures of sperm and impregnation from a sideway view. Because if you had it from a frontway view, you would be looking at it from this perspective. So when the sperm goes into the egg, you're what? You're born again. That's your second birth. That's your spiritual birth. There's the spear, right? There's your spiritual, right? That's, oh, ye that man were a worm, right? That's what it says in the Bible. Oh, ye that man were a worm. Now, right? There's that worm that's coming down to the earth, right? And it goes into the earth and it becomes an angel. When you're born, they tell you you're an angel. Why? Because the muscles that wrap around your rib cage are looking like feathers, which is why they open up, right? Because what is an angel? An angel shows you open wings. Every time you see an angel, it's got big ass wings that are wide open. Why is that? What is that symbolism? They're showing you to open your heart up. Don't angels do everything that is right chest? Think about it for a minute. They do everything that is right chest. They represent everything that is good, all the loving nature. That's your fucking heart. Where your treasure is, your heart will be also. That's an angel, okay? So you're cast out of the Father, you go down to the earth, and then you're born again. And then you ascend. What is ascension? Ascension is you coming into the real world. Okay? Do you understand? Do you get what I'm saying? You're already in your afterlife now. Let me say that for you again. You're in your afterlife. Your life started with the Father. Then you were that one solo individual that came down to the earth and got born again. You're in your afterlife. That's why they tell you that it's heaven on earth. Not heaven in your afterlife, but heaven on earth. There's only one thing in the Bible that tells you that it'll take you to heaven after. That's your boy Jesus. Oh. But aren't you guaranteed abundance in heaven on earth? So who's this guy that tells you that he wants to take you to the gates of heaven? Only through me can you get to the... You better think about it a little bit more deeper than what they're trying to fucking teach you about. Okay? So, the thing is that, they have practices in the church, the good and the evil is what they're all being taught, right? Your stairway to heaven, right? The information hidden in the book, right? The reason why they do things. They don't even know why they do things. Bro, let me do something for all you Christians in here, right? I'm gonna ask you something, right? I'm gonna ask you something, right? Because y'all in my chat going fucking ape shit. Hey, don't kick out the Christians for a second. Let them stay here for a second. Let them stay here for a minute. Let me ask you something, right? Let me ask you something, right? Because as you can see, I like my linen cloth, right? I like my linens, right? I have linen on my top, linen on my bottom, right? I have grounding sheets that are made out of linen. I have a blanket that is made out of linen. Everything's linen. Let me ask you something, my Christian friends. While you're supposedly being taught righteous things, let me ask you this. Which one of your preachers, which one of the people in your church is wearing all one cloth? I'll wait. See, the thing is that you should be asking yourself a question, which is how the fuck is it that you've gone into a place that tries to teach you about the Bible where the person that teaches you about it does nothing that's told in the Bible as something that's requirement? I'm pretty sure all your preachers and all the people in your cloth go around wearing suits, go around fucking digging into people's shit. So my question is how can you speak to me on a religion that not only does the person teaching you not follow, but also you yourself don't follow yourself? That doesn't make you question anything. You just sit there like a good puppet and just listen to the people that are blatantly lying to you and teaching you incorrect shit, and that don't even practice the thing that they're telling you that you need to do. So are you sure that you should be coming in here speaking to me? Because let me tell you something. Right? Because this is the thing, right? Is you conform to man's law, man's word. Right? I don't do religion. Why would I do religion? That wouldn't make sense. Now, I want you to think about this for a minute, right? Let me tell you about some things inside of your Bible, right? That you don't pay attention to, right? First off, it tells you beware of prophets that come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly bear ravenous intent. Your preacher comes to church not because he has to teach you something, but because he's paid to, and that's how he makes his living. So that's a ravenous intent. Not only that, but most of your preachers and most of have relations with the women in the churches and things like that. Not only that, but it's either the women or the boys, depending on which church you go to. Then on top of that, you've got the fact that you guys are ordered by the government, right? Because the governmental ordinance department is the one that contains your religion. And while you're talking to me about Christianity, I need you to realize that Christianity was created out of Catholicism, and Catholicism holds the copyrights to all of your Christian books. Not only that, but they alter the dates and alter the times and alter the things that are in the book to fit whatever they have going on. The reason behind that was because, now the funny thing about this is Christians battle with Catholics all the time. All right. Now, the thing about it is Catholics will be like, oh, they go in, the Christians will be like, oh, they go in there and confess and da-da-da. Okay, so they go in there and admit to the things that they think that they did wrong, and you knock them for that. But meanwhile, your whole justification is Jesus told you that you're born of sin, that you're always going to be a sinner, and that there's nothing that you can do about it but believe in him in order to get to the heavens. So, no, I'm not lying about anything, my sir. These are the things that you guys practice. So, I want to remind you, right? I want to remind you for a second that while you have a preacher that stands on a podium inside of a building that the character of Jesus went into, kicked over all the tables and told everybody to get out because they were turning it into commerce, because your boy Jesus in the Bible never once spoke to people from inside of a church. He spoke from mountaintops. He went out into the everyday places. He went into all these different places to speak to people. Never once was he in a church. You're not doing the thing that you're supposed to do. Because what did they tell you? God doesn't dwell in a house built by hands. You know why God doesn't dwell in a house built by hands? Because God is everything else. You can't see God from inside of a building because that's a man's construction, which restricts you from the nature that was created by it in the first place. So you can't be inside of a church and be close to God because all you're doing is worshiping some false doctrine and dogma that was given to you in order to keep you as far away from it as humanly possible. Now, the thing is that while you're doing these practices inside the place where God doesn't dwell, that Jesus told you to stay the fuck out of and warned you against church people and told you that they would take you into hell themselves, you're going in there listening to a man that doesn't even do the very simple practice of wearing the clothes of one frequency that will raise the frequency and teaching you about it. So if he's telling you that it's okay to sin, when in the Bible it specifically says, whosoever makes a practice of sin is of the devil, and whosoever practices righteousness is righteous as righteousness is righteous. And this is how we know our brethren one from the other, because those that have God would not do the things that you do. What you're not understanding about that is the fact that what they're trying to explain to you in there is that you're being misled in the first place, because you're making a practice of sin under the guise that you'll be forgiven for it, because all you have to do is believe in Jesus, which means that you're going around feeling and throwing around unrighteous things towards people at all point in times, looking around at the world thinking that everybody's ran by demons and devils, because you don't know God. That's why you can't see God in everything, and that's why you can't appreciate the things that are given to you. Because if you truly understood the nature of things and the nature of God, then you would understand that all the things that are happening around you are happening as a blessing to you for them not being your direct fucking result. Which means that while you're looking at all these atrocious acts that are happening to everybody around you, you yourself are judging people, calling them demons, devils, saying that they're evil and fucked up and all of these things, but you're not in a place to judge because you've cast too many stones yourself. So the thing is that when you're speaking of these things, you're doing it from a judgmental standpoint that you're not supposed to carry in the first place, because that goes against the frequencies that are necessary in order for you to rise to another level in your first place. You cannot have the enlightenment and the energy of Christ if you are yourself stuck in a low vibration. That low vibration is only done through truth, appreciation, love, and motherfucking honesty. Okay? You have to learn these things, and you going around judging people is destroying yourself. The things that they're trying to teach you in the Bible is things that will preserve yourself. It's not for you to try to apply to others. It's for you to reserve yourself. This is why I tell you, you're supposed to love all of God's creatures. You can't tell me that you love God's creatures when you're one, telling me you hate the devil, when the devil is a necessary thing in order for you to learn what's right from wrong. You're two, telling me that people are demons and devils and that they're possessed and everything, which means that you're having hatred towards them because you fell for the added stuff that they put in the book where they told you that God was wrathful towards the people that didn't. That doesn't even make sense. That in itself is actually man. That's man making these things up. Okay? So no, I'm not judging you. I don't have a position to judge you from. I understand that you're a part of me and I'm a part of you. And so the things that I teach you are the things that you need to find, and you're going to find them in your own time. But what I'm not going to do is allow you to sway other people with your nonsense because you refuse to learn. My people will perish for lack of knowledge, for they reject knowledge, and knowledge. My people will perish for lack of knowledge, for they reject knowledge, and I shall reject thy seat in the heavens and thy children. You are rejecting knowledge. I am giving you the real wisdom. You cannot find the birds of the heavens and the beasts of the field that are there for your knowledge anywhere except for in ancient civilizations. You don't understand why the monkey sits atop, right? Why does the monkey sit atop? That's not a monkey god. That's the midbrain. Okay, that's the midbrain. The midbrain, no, it's not the 42 laws of Ma'at, my guy. Stop speaking on things that you're not ready for yet. Okay, you're just not ready for that, bro. You have to get past all this bullshit that they give you about these ancient civilizations, because it's all one, and they didn't call those things the things that they call them now. Okay, now listen, the monkey, right? That monkey sits on top of that scale. Why? Because this is your cross. This is why they still practice it in the one church, okay? Now, the monkey sits atop here. Why? Because it sees no evil, hears no evil, speaks no evil. The monkey does what the monkey does. What are the characteristics of the monkey? The same thing as your mind. Your mind, you can be sitting there having a great day, just the same way as you can see a little monkey and feed it a little food, and it'll be happy and it'll be chilling, but all of a sudden, as soon as it's done eating that food, it turns around and fucking attacks you. What's your mind do? Your mind, you'll sit in there, be chilling, you're eating a good little thing of food, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it hits you with... That bitch didn't call you 10 minutes ago. Fucking get her. Now, you understand? That's why that creature sits up there. You understand? Nature represents you. And if you can't find yourself in nature, you're not going to find the answers that are left in the birds of the heavens and the beasts of the field that are there to teach you. That's why it says in the Bible, who has more knowledge of man than the birds of the heavens and the beasts of the field? Because they're the ones that are there to teach you about yourself. They give you life lessons just in acknowledging their existence and the things that they do. What do you mean Hebrews couldn't have told me that? No, the Creator did. Now, so you have what? What do we got here, right? You got the dog that's controlling the frequency, right? Why? Because the dog, your dog guards you, right? It guards you. Your mouth, your tongue guards your words. It releases the things into the reality, snaps at things that ain't supposed to be there. You got the frog. Frog represents your hips. Why does the frog represent your hips? What does the frog do? It goes in the water and on the land. And it also produces in the water, right? The little tadpoles. What's the tadpole look like? Your sperm. Now, the frog actually looks like your hip bones, and that sits and lives in the waters, and it goes in the water and out of the water. Hip bones, lower portion of the body, right? Little dude with the head. See this guy with the head? Not a god. This is a representation of thought. Why? As I showed you in the diagrams earlier, your thoughts leave out of your heads. Wouldn't your ideas need wings to fly? Not a god. This is not some two-headed lady. This is two women standing together. Why is it two women standing together? Because women are the ones that are in control of your emotions. You have your amygdala and your cerebellum, the two things that are within you that control the emotional responses to the memories and the thoughts that you have. One controls the emotional response. One controls the physical response to that emotion in your body. These are representations of energy. Okay? So then you have what? The man inside the body. Why? Because the body is physical. Men represent physical. Women, emotional. Men, physical. So, the physical. Okay? You understand? These are things that you're not going to be able to find if you're unable to look at these things for what they are and continue to be taught of gods and demons and devils and all of these things. I can show you every single ancient civilization that they told you worship different gods and prove to you that it's all the same information. Because this is the most sacred thing that was passed on that's been stopped with religion. None of the things that you think were religion were ever religions. And once they created religion, that was the end of the knowledge. That was the death of Christ. Okay? That was the end of your enlightenment. So, I gotta put it back on the charger. All right, so let's flop this shit. All right, flop it real quick. Bink, bink. Now, so let's take it a little bit further, shall we? So let's see. Let's break some stuff down here, right? Because Jesus and the devil are the same exact thing. Okay? These are the same things. Oh, no problem, No Fuentes. Why do they hide this? Okay. Here, let's get into why they hide it before we go digging into all these other different symbolisms and shit. Okay? Because look, it's in everyone. It's everywhere. Okay? It all goes from the old into the new. We'll get into that in a second. Made me forget the question for a second there. Hold on, let me scroll back up. I gotta see what that question was again. Oh, why did they hide it? Okay, let me explain it to you like this, right? Here, give you the sauce real quick. Let's see, which one is it in? This one. All right, and that's in the older work, so this pile? Yeah, this pile. Okay. Let's see, do we need... No, we don't need that. Wait, let me see what's all on here. Oh, okay, it's got plenty on there. All right, so... All right. So, why do they need you to not know this? Because this is your cleansing process. This is the pineal gland connected to your circle of Willis, which is the epicenter of all the nerves and stems that are in your brain. This are your cerebellum right here. That's your frontal, occipital, perennial, limbic lobe. This is the energy that's being transferred into the brain and is being regulated by your thoughts and emotions. Okay, these women over here. Now, if you notice up top, it's a 28-day cycle. This is a month. This is a calendar. Because every month, you have a 28-day cycle that takes place, right? Remember, I keep telling you about this shit. Y'all don't, okay, well, this is where it comes from. Here, matter of fact, let me show you the other gallery, because the other gallery is has a little bit more on it already. One that's already got the whole thing. Where is it at? Fuck it, just go with this one. Okay, so I want you to notice some shit, right? So inside the chamber of the mind, right, with the 28 days on top of it, you have the transference of the energy. Now that energy travels, look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 that are white. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 that are in color. Not only do you have 7 white and 7 in color, but you also have 7 that are charged. So what's 7 times 3? 21, which leaves what? The remaining 7 days of the month, right? Because it's a 28-day cycle. Now, at the 21st day of that cycle, there's an energy that's being transferred, that's traversing from your spinal column down to your hips, right? And that energy goes down to the hips to create the new blood. Okay, that new blood that gets created in your system is then transferred by the frequency, right? For that last week, right? There's going to be a frequency that is transferring through your body, right? And, oops, shit, sorry. I gotta fucking take that off that thing. Sorry, I don't want the little stuff to pop up and shit. So give me 1 second. Let's go like that. And let's add another layer. Now we'll just put it on the eraser. All right, there we go. Now I won't do it no more. Okay, so during that 28-day cycle, on the 3rd week of that month, you're going to have the energy transferring down to create, you know, your fresh blood. That new renewed blood is then a charge that goes through your body. Now, they tell you that this is weighing things, right? They give you the exact opposite. They're like, this is him weighing the heart versus the feather and blah, 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 fucking bullshit. So what it actually is the balancing. Notice how he's got his hand on it, right? He's balancing it through the waters, okay? From the heart, the mind, the action, the word, and your desires, okay? So the thing is that renewed energy, right? That energy that gets created every 28 days, right? Is the thing that fuels and restructures everything that's within your body. Okay, this is your cleansing process. Wherewithal shall man be led by the word to be cleansed? You know, Bible scriptures. So he's being led by the word to cleanse his system, not to be judged, right? They give you this stupid story where they're like, oh yeah, it's the heart light as the feather, and if your heart isn't as light as your feather, then you're going to get consumed by this fucking animal. That's all that God stupid shit. Let me give you the real truth of it. This is your intentions. These are your thoughts. That's why there's a feather on top of the head. It's the thoughts, okay? So you have the intentions, the thoughts, the action, the word, and the desire. The animal represents the desires. The crocodile is the representation of your intestines. The lion is the representation of your adrenal gland. And the hippo is the representation of the stomach, okay? So because the alligator represents the intestine, right? It doesn't matter. It's not an alligator or a crocodile. It's just a reptile. The reason that they chose it is because the ridges on the intestine look the same as the ridges on the alligator's back. Okay. So it's, I'll show you that in a moment, right? The hippo has the same exact shape as your stomach does. And your lion is the thing that operates all of your emotions, right? Your pride, your envy, your lust, your anger, all of that comes from the lion. You understand? So that's your adrenal gland. Okay, so you have the balancing. It's a regulation process. Now, the thing is that these things are all necessary to be under control in order for you to be able to receive that energy, because the energy is traveling through the blood. Right? But that blood gets redispersed every time that you eat wrong things and do wrong things. It just starts going in all different directions and shit, because you're consuming the energy, and so the blood starts to move faster to make up for the lack of the water that's supposed to be moving. It's a whole fucking thing. So this is the thing, all right? This is the thing, all right? Once you have balanced your system, right? Once you have balanced your system, what happens is after it goes through your chest, right, it goes into the chamber of the mind, right, where it then provides energy through the foundation of it. It gives it energy to the mind and ignites your pineal gland, right? This is the shape of the lateral ventricles or Amun's horn right here. That's your pineal gland that sits atop of it. The reason that the feathers are on either side of it is because it's creating a vibration. Okay? The feathers represent muscle. It represents action, contracting, moving, all these things. Okay? So this is your cleansing process. If you understand this process, you'll understand that this is done by the 12 disc cycles, right? Notice how there's 12 disciples here, right, that follow behind, right? Now, remember, this isn't something that's following. This is something that is a part of everything. This is something that's being carried through something, and this is what it's being passed through. This is your spinal column, okay? And so by this, you're learning a 28-day cycle that's based off of a 12-disc cycle. Your astrology, okay? Your astrology tells you the last section of the month where you're going to find that 3-day period, and the 3-day period, bro, shut the fuck up, bro. I wish y'all would stop doing that shit, my guy. Oh, he's telling you stuff about Moses. Oh, bro, my guy, this is Moses, okay? This is Moses right here. Since I already told y'all the whole process, it's just that simple, okay? You just got to know your astrology and know what it's actually there for. Bro, your boy Moses, okay? This is your boy Moses. Right there. Moses is the process of cleansing your blood through oxygenation and grounding. Okay? Osmosis. It separates it between the permeable water, just the same as he took a bunch of people from one side to the other. That's osmosis, okay? This is Moses, you know, the sheep herder, okay? The one that manages the mind, that speaks to burning bushes, that carries a shepherd's staff. Okay? And he goes up on the mountain, which is your 7 seals, the Sinai, the mountain. The mountain is your vertebrae. He's climbing the mountain. Right? And when he climbs that mountain, who's he talk to? Some fucking snakes, right? You understand? So what you're looking at, and what's he get given? He gets given what? He gets given the tablets. Right? He gets given the tablets. What are the tablets? The shape of your lungs. Why? Because he was given the word of God. Oh. Oh. Okay? You have to understand. You read that from the book of Genesis, where they're telling you how to grow. Genesis is onto Genesis, which is onto Gene Isis, the one that puts man together. You understand? It's the developmental growth. This is what you go through from the time that you're conceived all the way until the time that you pass on. Your body is going through onto Genesis. Every single biological entity goes through onto Genesis. You understand? So in the book of Genesis, right? And if you don't believe me, just look at what it used to be called. The Lord Isis. There's a reason that it's Isis. See, because you got Cesare Borgia as your boy Jesus, and your boy Jesus was painted by Leonardo da Vinci that made the Mona Lisa, who has that secretive smile because the Mona Lisa is in fact Jesus. You understand? So the secret to the secret, yeah, that was his boyfriend. That's why he's seen him as a woman. It's literally the same exact person. This is Leonardo da Vinci's boyfriend, who was also Leonardo da Vinci's girlfriend. Learn. Now, the thing is because, there used to be different images, right? They used to remake copies of it. This is why you can't find any old Bibles, because the old Bibles had pictures in them. Because before it was words, it was pictures. And then it got turned into spells put on pictures called scriptures. Okay? Because the word will be passed through unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches that were gotten by deceit. Okay? Now, the thing is that if you don't know what you're looking at, you won't recognize these pictures. This is the chamber of the heart. These are the ventricles that come off the side of it. This is... Let me do it like this. Make it easier for you. See if I can... Like that. Okay. Notice how the right arm, right? Notice how the left arm goes down, right arm goes straight across. Notice how the left arm goes down, goes straight across. On the other side of that, you have an arch, right? The arch that's kind of above it that has the 3 arteries that come off the top. The arch that's above it with the 1, 2, 3 that come off the top. Next to that, you have your, what? The right atrium. What's coming out of the right atrium? That would be the pulmonary, right? Now in the pulmonary, you have what? You got 2. You got one long one, right? And then you have one short one, right? You see that, right? You see the one long arm, a little short arm, right? What do you see here? Notice how you got the one long arm and then you got that little short one? Same shit. Same exact shit. And then behind that, you got 1, 2, 3. Behind him, 1, 2, 3. On this side, you got the 3 that are over here, which are the 3 that are up here. Now, down here you have the pulmonary artery, which goes down to the left side on the back side. Down, left, back side. Goes down. Comes up on the right side. Notice how she's lifting up the cape. This is your ascending artery. Oh, I know, Israel Travis. I know, you're fucking dense and haven't studied biology. I get it. So let me help you out, my friend. Let me help you understand how your body works so you know what you're actually supposed to be learning. Where is it? Where is it? Here, let me bring up, we'll go with Enki, right? Where's our boy Enki at? There he is. There we go. Now, look. This is your heart. This is how your heart functions. On your heart, on the back left side, right? You see how it crosses? See how it makes that cross right there? You see how it's on the left side and it stays on the back side, right? Notice how it's on the right side and on the front, okay? The left side is your pulmonary artery. The pulmonary artery is the part where everything goes down into the hips. The right side is your ascending artery. That's where it all goes back up to the heart, okay? Now, if you notice there's 2 of these. Now, if you notice they're making a little cross here. So what that also means is this is your caduceus. All you got to do is split the head in half and you have both sides of the heart, because the caduceus is the left and the right side and the transference of the blood and the energy. Now, this is how it's explained to people. Over here, you have what? Inside of a chamber, right? You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 full cycles on this, and a portion of a 13th. What do you have on your ribs? 12 vertebrae, right? The 12 thoracic vertebrae that wrap around the hearts, right? Or you have what? A 12 disc cycle. The 12 disciples, okay? Now, so outside of that, you've got what? You see how it travels here on the left side going down on the back, and on the right side here going up? Notice how on the back side, on the left side, the pants leg is behind the leg. Notice how the pants are actually behind the leg on the left side, meaning that it's the back left side, and it's traveling down to what? The ox, right? Okay? Way of Yahweh. Shut the fuck up, bro. Okay? That's my way of loving you. Just shut the fuck up, my guy, and just learn for a second. Okay? My people will perish for lack of knowledge. Shut up. It's symbolism. What you see is what you get in symbolism. It's not some reverse shit. It's made so that you can see it the way that it is. So this is the left side and this is the right side. That's symbolism. That's how it works. Learn, follow up, close your mouth, and learn, my guy. Okay? Just zip it, bro. This is why you can't understand these things, is because you're trying to look at it too complex. It's not a very complex system. This is a very, very, very simple thing. Why? Because these are made to teach children with. Okay? So since it's made to teach children with, it's going to be made so that children are able to actually follow along with it. Okay? Now, so on the back left side, you have the pants leg on the back left side, and you have the leg in front of it. Why? Because it's going down to what? The hips of the ox. Back again to that ox, right? So what's the ox represent? The ox represents the reproductive organs. That's how you know that this is the hips. Also, if you look at the shape of your hips, see how it goes up like this and then like this? That's this right here, standing on that ledge. Okay? So you have your pulmonary that stays on the back left side. Notice how the one that's the ascending crosses over but stays on the top. You see that? Okay? So it stays on the top. Now, all of this is right here. This is why you find the depictions of Jesus getting stabbed on his back left side with a spear, so that the blood flows down on the left side where it's being received. Notice how it's dirty and angry over here. And notice how it's clean and fresh and being put back up to the heart on the right side. With a little scrubber in his hand. Why? Because it's cleansing the heart. So on the left side, it's going down. That's your pulmonary. On the right side, it's going up. That's your ascending artery. You understand? This is the symbolism of this. This right here. Okay, this is why he's always got the 12 that follow behind him. What's the 12 that follow behind him? Your vertebrae. Okay? This is your cross right here. You see it? This is the cross that you bear every day. They tell you that you're supposed to figure out the one accord in the Bible. It's your spinal cord. Okay? So, realize that the whole reason that the church and everything good is based off of being right-chested is because this is the right side of the chest when you're looking at it in front of you, because it's meant for you to see. You're the one that's meant to witness. You're the one that's meant to observe. They're talking of the heart. This is just biology. You got to remember, people didn't converse in words. People conversed in images because images is natural. Nature is the thing that everybody operated off of. And so nature is the only way that you can explain this. Okay, so without knowing the nature of how your system works, without knowing the nature of how the animals work, you would never know that these wings that are on here to represent your muscles. You would think that he was a what? An angel. Yeah, it's a mirroring of you. Now do you get why it had to be done the way that it was done? Because it's all about you. It's always been about you. You're the observer. Your part in this life is so fucking important. A lot of you have this feeling like you're just an ant on an ant farm. No. Your perspective is crucial as fuck into the continuation of the building of these heavens. You understand? You are the most fucking important thing in your life. Literally. You need to understand that. And you were chosen to do this task of observing things to make a better heaven for the next round. That's what you're doing right now. You're in your afterlife. You were in your father. You came to the mother, and then the mother released you into the reality. That's 3 different forms that you've been in. About the Ankh, I'll show you what the Ankh is, guy. The Ankh is your vertebrae. Everything's perverted about the way that they're doing things now. Everything's perverted. That's why you go to class, which is your ass, right? That's why you have a dictionary, right? You're learning deaf Phoenicians. Everything that they do is perverse. Why? Because everything that they're doing is based off of the worshiping of the cow. How do you know? Because everything that you can do is told that you're what? A bull. You're dealing with people that are following things on a religious idea. Baphomet wasn't what they make it out to be now. You don't. Okay, here let's get into that. Let's go for that one. That's a good question. That's a valid fucking question. Let's talk about Baphomet for a second. Where is it? Where's that Alpha Omega one that I have? But I'm sitting on the seat. Okay, so let's discuss it, right? Let's talk about this. The reason, right? Now you already know because you've seen it a couple times here, right? The ox represents the male and female organs, okay, coming together, okay? So realize that when you're talking about Baphomet, right? The sacrificing of the child to Baphomet back in ancient times wasn't sacrificing children to a burning bull. Don't you have burning desires? Don't you have a place on your body that's hot as fuck? That kind of looks like a bull. That's Baphomet. Okay? So the story of sacrificing the child to Baphomet is childbirth. It's not burning children and shit. That's that crazy ass Roman shit. Okay? The Romans did all the crazy shit and they tried to justify it by pointing in other directions. Baphomet was simply the transference of the energy into the ox. The ox is the thing that created the life because that was the thing that holds the life. Okay? Oh, I don't give a fuck. Tape it, repost it. Just make sure you tag me in it so people know where to come to get more of it. That's all. Bro, I don't give a fuck. You can screen record this whole thing. You're going to be here for a while, though. Bro, Baal and Baphomet are one and the same, my friend. They're one in the same. It's the same information, the same energy, the same transference. Why you think he's got... Look, let me show you. Let me show you what I mean by this, right? See how he's got the goat head? Remember, what I just showed you what the goat represents, right? The goat is what? That's your brain, okay? The goat is your brain, okay? That's your hypothalamus. That's your thalamus, and that's your lateral ventricles, okay? This is your goat. This is inside of you, okay? This is Baphomet, okay? Now, Baphomet has the head of the goat, right? Where's he at? That is your circle of Willis. Okay? Now, because of the fact that you've been being taught about all these gods and demons and devils and things, you think that this is some powerful fucking thing. People get power from this by believing in this. But all that is them lacking accountability for their actions and making it so that they have an excuse as to why they can do the things that they do. These are scapegoats. Get it? The scapegoat. Okay? So, this is actually symbolism. All right? This is your brain. This is your circle of Willis. Okay? This is the part of the brain that actually regulates the blood and things inside of the brain. Okay? So, you're a scapegoat. Doesn't exist anymore because this is the center part, which is the brain stem that you see here. Now this is just this portion of the circle of Willis. The base of the circle of Willis, however, is this star right here. If you cut the circle of Willis off right here, you have the 6-pointed star that you see here. Notice how it's got the extra point down here at the bottom, which is this point right here. These are the 2 legs on either side, and these 2 are right here. It's these ones that come out here, okay? So the base of the circle of Willis is the star itself. The circle of Willis itself is the head, okay? So inside of this, so what do you have, right? Let's go back to the first one. So when you're looking at this, right? So now that you understand that this is the circle of Willis, realize that this is your brain right here. That's your brain, okay? Where is... Look at it for a second. Let's go back to the other one. Sorry, I got to put these 2 together a little closer, I think. But look, all right? Notice your brain sideways. Your brain sideways is the ram. That's the goat. Okay, that's your brain sideways. Right, what you talk about, Willis, exactly. Now, so your brain is the Lamb of God, or the ram, or the goat. Okay, this is why they tell you that you're what? You're stubborn, you're hard-headed, you're thick-headed. These are all attributes of what? Goats, rams, all the things that they do. That's your brain. That's why you can be hard-headed. That's why you can be stubborn. That's why you can spit. You understand? This is where all these allegories come for. You've been speaking about all these things your entire life. You just didn't know exactly why it was that they were saying it. Matter of fact, here, let me give you the better image of it. Where'd that Moses picture go again? Look, look. Why do you think they call you kids in the first place? Think about this. Everything is based off of this. They call you what? You, which is a female lamb. They call you a kid when you're growing up. Right? When you get good at something, they tell you that you're the goat. So, let's get back to Baphomet real quick. Right? Where did he go? Right there. All right, so what do we have on the Baphomet? Now, you have the opening of the rib cage, right? Because it's all about that heart, right? So you got what? Count them up. See how this one's disappearing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 12 full ones and a little half of one because you got that little floating rib, right? That's your rib cage, all right? So inside your rib cage, you've got what? See that right there? See that hand symbol? Where's that heart? Pink. See how you got 2 that go straight out and 1 that curls over? Your 2 that go straight out and the 1 that curls over. That's the hand symbol. Your heart mudra. Okay? So, you've got it coming down from the top and going up from the bottom. You've got 2 children because this is dealing with your what? Your masculine and your feminine energies. And children are what? Pure. They're pure. Why? Because they haven't been taught good and bad and evil fucking things yet. Children are pure at heart. You understand? So you have the transference of the energies. Now, if we look closely, you have the caduceus sitting here. That's your spinal column going up to the head. These are the 2 sides of your heart and your pulmonary artery. Because remember, the pulmonary is what? On the back side and goes down on the left. Right? From the left side goes on the back down. On the right side, it goes on the front and up. Right? Just the same way as the legs. The one that's going on the left side and goes down. Notice how the leg hairs point downward. Notice how these leg hairs point upwards. Right? And he has what? Hoofs. Why does he have the hoofs? You're back to that cow, that calf, right? Remember, the calf is the hips. Hold on. That was this one. Hold on. Right here, right? Remember, the calf that represents the reproductive organs. Okay? So he has the hoofs of the calf on his feet because this is going down to your hips. All right? So it goes down to the hips on the pulmonary from the back left side. Right? And you see how it's got the liquid letting you know that it's the waters that are traveling. Right? So it passes down on the left side and then returns back up on the right side. Now, furthering this, notice how the girl, the energy, the emotion, right? She has the energy, right? And it stays on the left back side, right? See how it's on the back side and going down? Notice how on the right side you have the male, the energy versus the physical, right? So on the right side, because the physical is the cleansing process that happens, right? On the right side, he's got what? His hand up to his heart. Same way as the child in the image of Jesus has the scrub brush going up to the heart. So you have the left side going down. You have the right side that's ascending back. Okay. So you have the artery. These are the sides of the heart. This is an open rib cage. This is your brain. This is the inside of the brain. This is the bottom half of the brain from the outside. This is the inside of the brain from the top, right? This is like, let me show you like this. All right, so they're looking at the brain like this. It's like this, okay? So the reason that you know that is because typically these horns, if they were looking at the brain from the regular way, it would be coming down this way. The horns would be coming down and forward towards you, but they're doing what? They're going up, right? And in. So they're inside the circle and they're vertical. So what is that? What is that? Inverted. So the inverted horns are showing you that this is the inside of the brain. This is your frontal, your occipital, your perennial, your lombatic, and your cerebellum. It is pretty simple if you know how the body is put together. But I mean, look, bro, you got to realize it's very simple. They're going in and the horns are going vertical. They're not coming down and coming forward. They're going up, which is vertical, and they're going in. You understand? So that's inversion. So it's inverted. You get me? So this is simply the most recent creation of your ascension process. No, Jesus is a demon. He doesn't love me because he runs every time that I find him. And I know this because when people tell me that they start going to church and they tell me about it and I talk about Jesus, it disappears out of their fucking life. It runs from me literally. You know why? Because a demon doesn't stand a chance in front of a God. Now I'm going to keep moving. So this is the thing. Where's that other image at? Somebody asked about the ears. Let me show you. Pink. Now, if you notice, right? Notice on the head, you have these two parts that come out sideways. That's the ears. So, what you're seeing is the representation of the brain. Okay? So the fact that you're taught gods and demons and devils and given those spells in the church, you're unable to see the things that were left behind to teach you. Now, this was created with the intention of creating fear in people that do not understand, and that keeps them at a lower level because it makes them easier to control. There's a big difference between this being created for that purpose and what it actually represents. You understand? There's a big difference. So you have to realize that you need to free yourself of all of these ideas because they're spells that you were given. They're giving you spells on everything external and making it feel like you're not in control of things, because by doing so, you're releasing and relinquishing your control. You have more control over things than you think that you do. You're limited by the things that they tell you that you're capable of. I can show you a video right now of a school that is teaching kids how to see without using their eyes. using those psychic abilities that they tell you don't exist. But I can prove to you, in fact, that all of these things that they tell you that you can't do, you can do. Yes, there are people that do know how to levitate. It's just manipulation of the ether, okay? I'm not one of those people. It's not something I'm looking to do. I got other shit to do. I like to focus my energy on learning rather than focusing it on, fun stuff, okay? So, you're just going to have to go follow those people that do that type of shit. But look, this is the thing, right? Yeah, oh, the men who stare at goats. That's a good one. Look. No, look up Ernst Braun something. It's a Russian guy that's able to do this, and he teaches. He has a whole school for it. Just like I could show you. I'll put the video on my profile because I found one and I downloaded it, and I'll put it on my profile that shows you these kids that they have that are going to school, and the school is teaching them to see things without their eyes, to the point to where they can drop objects in their hands and have them know what color it is, what shape it is, and what it is and where it is, just by fucking practicing. I keep telling you, what you do is limited to what you accept, but you guys haven't gotten to that point yet because you're still in the system. So before you get to that point, you got to break the system. You got to break the system by learning the maxims. Once you learn the maxims of the system, you're then able to operate this from a different perspective than the one that you are actually going through right now. Because the maxims are going to give you the answers to all of the things that you go through so that you can re-reference them to love, so that you can control the way that you operate and do things more fluently and more efficiently. Hey, what up, Kurt? Yes, it is, in fact, the Book of Johnson. Yes. Okay, now, this is the thing. Now, I can't go over Ishtar, only Zulu. Only Zul. The reason I can't go over Ishtar is because every time I do, the Christians come in here and flag my shit, telling them that I'm showing nudity, and for some reason I get banned for that fucking statue. So I really can't go over it too well. So I apologize for that. But they like to fucking come for my shit. But if you want information on it, it's in my workshop. This is my workshop right here, Right, she is on there. I just can't really bring that page forward. And there's a couple of things on here that I can't bring forward because it deals with anatomy, and they fucking, So, this is the thing, right? Like, this is my curriculum that I have for my followers, okay? And, this is a free growing curriculum. Like, it keeps growing. Like, the more stuff I find, I put in here. Okay. So this is my curriculum that I'm creating. Well, I've already created. There's a bunch of videos on YouTube that will catch you up to it. And then outside of that, I do have this book that I wrote, and the book that I wrote deals with your subconscious and reprogramming your subconscious and the way that you see things first. And it's coded. The reason I say that it's coded is because there's no proper grammar. It's proper grammar as in what the words are, right? But the thing is that the sentences and the punctuations are all off because this is a scrambling process that you have to go through. Okay, you have to scramble the way that you're taught to perceive things, the way that you're taught to see things, and the way that your mind is taught to analyze things. And the only way to do that is to scramble the way that you're taught to do it in the first place. So you'll find capital letters where capital letters don't belong. You'll find words that mean the same thing that are different words. Okay, that's the thing that's going to engage your subconscious, because by doing so, what it does is it makes your subconscious seek further. So what we're doing is training your mind to look into things for what they are more than what you can see physically is the best way to explain it. This is also a part of hypnotization. Okay, hypnotization, the way that you're hypnotized is by an abundance of things that are throwing you off to the point to where you're easily able to be controlled. So the reprogramming just comes from the way that you read it itself. Okay, not only is it the way that you read it, but we teach you how to view things for what they are. It's the Book of Johnson. You can order this off of Amazon by clicking the link in my bio, or you can get the e-copy from me with the curriculum attached to it that also has some esoteric teachings. It's got some scriptures in there that are related to hieroglyphs and a couple of things of that nature. Like, Here, look, let me show you real quick. Where's that? Google Drive. Yeah, what the fuck? Drive. Beep, beep, beep. Here, let me show you. Beep, 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 beep. What the fuck? I thought it was already signed in. All right, here we go. Now, let's go to Files and then go to this one. Okay, so look, right? So there's extra stuff. There's some stuff I didn't put in the book just because of the fact that, you know, there was copyrights and stuff like that. So there's like one chart that I didn't put in the book. Okay, get the fuck out of here. You know? All right, right. So in the folder that you would get if you got the book and the curriculum from me, what you would actually be getting with that is some of the artwork and some of the side notes and shits that I created that might not have made it into the book. You'll also get copies of all the codexes, right? Okay, because these are the source of religion right here. Okay, these are your religious texts in their original form. Okay, this is the first form of your Bibles. Okay, these are your bibloses. Okay, now this, you know, there's information in here. I'm not going to go through the whole thing of it, but we'll make it very simple. You understand? The reason, like here, I'll give you a little taste, right? This is the same process that you see in the thing that I just showed you. This is the same exact process. This is just a different part of the process. You see the birds, you know, the birds of the heavens and the beasts of the field that are there for your knowledge, right? Now, if you notice, you got parrots over here, right? Why are there parrots over there? Because parrots talk. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, Jesus is in here, my guy. Hold on. Let me show you Jesus on the cross. Hold on a second. Where you're speaking of Jesus, but don't even know where Jesus comes from. Let's see. Which one is it? All right, because here are all your scriptures, bro. Can the blackamoor or the leopard change his spots so that ye might also do good that do evil? Let's see. Where is that? Oh, ye that man were a worm. All right, this is the dragon swallowing the head. That's the spirit. Let's see. Where are we? What am I looking for? Oh, death and life are weighed at the scale of the tongue. That's the dog that represents the tongue there. This is all of the, you know, the carrying of your actions, the words that you speak, the regulation of the heart. This is your, look, you talk about the guy with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 things that follow behind it. Okay? These are where all these things come from. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? The 7 that lead up to the heavens. All of these things came from this shit first. Okay? This is why you have your Codex Borgia. Where's it at? Which is Cesare Borgia, the son of Pope Alexander, that became Jesus to fool the Western world. Oh, wait, that's a shitty copy of it. Hold on. Give me the other one. Oh, is that the only copy of it I put in here? Okay. The Borgia Codex was them trying to copy everything and trying to have them remake it, right? But the thing is that what most people don't realize, right, is that all of the religious stuff came from the Americas. Look. Let me show you something real quick. It came from the Americas. Look. Let me show you something real quick. Sorry about that. Phone died. All right, let's see. Where's the one with the maps at? Hold on a second. Let me show you something, right? I want you to notice something, right? These are all your religious places, and this is the passageway of Jesus. Now, how many people? Hey, look, don't boot nobody from the church. Don't boot nobody out from the church anymore. Let them stay for a second. I'm gonna fucking clarify some shit for a second. Okay, now, peep game out. Peep game out. This is the passageway that Jesus travels, right here. It's through the United States, okay? Now, notice how the real Palestine is in Texas, okay? Just so you know, Okay. Now, well, they do that because they don't help anything. They can't do nothing else. Yeah, I know Jesus is a ship. I got all that stuff, bro. I got all the shit to prove all that shit. Now, look, check this out, right? So, look, I want you to notice something, right? Right now, they got you thinking that this is the Holy Land over here and shit, right? Okay? That's what they want you to believe, right? I'm tripping? Okay, check this out. First off, this is a map from a 1700s Bible. Okay, and the map from the 1700s Bible, I want you to notice that the compass is the exact opposite of how it is now. Okay, realize that. So the Western world versus the Eastern world are the opposite of what you see now. Now, if you don't believe me, you can go look at the Louisiana Purchase. Go look up Louisiana Purchase in the St. Louis fucking History Museum, and you're going to find the same old compass. Okay, because they haven't changed it. They still haven't changed it, even though it's there, because it has to be in your face. Right? So I want you to realize that, according to the Balfour document, right? First off, Israel was only established in 1917 over there across seas. Think of that for a second, okay? Israel did not exist there before the Balfour document. The Balfour document is Mr. Rothschild receiving Israel from the land of Palestine by commission of the king back in 1917. So that is not the real Israel over there. Not only is it not the real Israel, but it's not the real Palestine either. Because all you got to do is take one quick look. All right, I got to leave that up there because I got to get into the part of Ezekiel fucking taking measurements. That's that's going to be so good. Okay, look, check this out. Remember that everything that's a republic is a corporate party that was created. That creates nation states. Just like Africa is not the name of that land, it's Albacan. Just like China is not the name of that land, it's Manchurian. Just like, you understand, nothing that you see on the map right now is the name of the lands. These are all names of corporations. This is what the Great Wars were really about, was them flipping the maps, trying to steal the Holy Land. Okay? So, that is not Israel. This is why over in Israel, it is illegal for people to get DNA tests. The reason that it's illegal for them to get DNA tests is because if they took DNA tests, they would find that they're Persians, they would find that they're British, they would find that they're Manchurian, they would find that they're everything except for people from Israel. There's nobody in that land that came from that fucking land. Those are all people that were migrated there. Okay? No, I don't push Jewish Kabbalah, you fucking fool. How can you be so foolish to not understand that this is where everything comes from? This is where the real Israel is. This is where Palestine is. This is where the real Egypt is. This is where all those things that you see on the map came from here. Now, it wasn't stolen, Million Mood. It was given to them. You have to be correct about this. They didn't have the power to steal it from us. How do you think a group that is only 7% of the entire population got to be in control of the entire population? You think that that was done by force? How could 7% of anything conquer anything? It has to be done by people on the other side. Literally. They're not strong enough to do that. Now, this is the thing, right? So realize that while they're giving you, this is for my Christian people that are in here, I want you to realize that you don't even know what the fuck you're talking about religiously, because all of your arguments for religious validation are coming from nation states that were created in the 1800s to the 1900s. That means that all of your maps that are saying that they're geographically proving the things are fucking lies. Because you're not even looking at the right side of the world in the first place. I don't have the South and North mixed up, you fucking fool. This is the original compass. The original compass is north, south. But if you notice, this is how you're viewing it now. Realize that this is how you view the map now. This is how it's supposed to be. The green mass that I circled in Texas, that's Palestine. Realize, okay, right, biblically speaking, they said that when the original people were attacked, that would be the end of the world and blah, 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 blah. Since 2013, the Corporation of America was found guilty of crimes against humanity for the indigenous people that were found buried inside of the flesh pits in fucking Texas. That was the original Israelites that were prophesied in the Bible as being found that you weren't supposed to touch, which is why the corporation got shut down from that point forward. Okay? Understand these things. And so because of that, that was in 2013. 2014, you had Pope Francis sending a letter to Obama commanding him to shut everything down and return it back to the people. That didn't work. Instead, you got a bunch of people still pretending that system's in play, pretending to be presidents, but there is no president of that corporation. That's why nobody's been in that office since the Obama administration. Nobody's paying attention to the fact that the fucking White House has been shut down for 10 years straight. Somehow everybody just ignores this easy fact. The White House has been shut down for 10 years straight. There has been nobody in that office for 10 years. Now, so realize, no, you don't in fact want Trump. You don't want Biden. You don't want Trump. You don't want none of them. Because they represent the corporation that's been gotten rid of. They've been putting on an act in front of you to make you think that they're still in control so that you don't just rip the system the fuck out of this land like you're supposed to. This is why they keep telling you that they're waiting for Black America to wake up and save the country. Because it's our land. That's why they're so adamant about trying to push everything in the media as black and white couples now, and motherfucking having black people in power and stuff like that. That's why they're catering to that. That's why you had Trump go through a fake trial that he was never going to lose, because Trump is a national. So that court case got thrown the fuck out, because you have to actually physically hurt somebody or physically steal something or physically break something in order to go to court. He was never going to get arrested. They told you that the whole entire time. He's not going to jail. First time in history, in the history of the entire age, in the entirety of this country, this is the first time you've ever seen a president go to court. And the reason behind that was because what? Because all of the fucking original people of the land have been getting thrown into court and thrown into jail and things like that. So all of a sudden it was, oh, Trump's one of us. He's one of us now. But you think that you would think that, that would be enough. But no, instead he goes and bankrupts the Federal Reserve that was ordered by the international criminal courts to return all of the stolen money to the land and to the people. And so he bankrupted them, allowing them to get out of there scot-free. And then you have him coming back saying that he's going to come in office and put restrictions on the U.S. Treasurer, which is going to make it so that you can't access your estate. He's going to increase police immunity, right? Which means that if you don't understand, the police immunity comes from the Soft Killing Act, which is the act that was created to explain why it was okay for you to unalive your slave, which you are by being a citizen, because a citizen is a corporate piece of property that only belongs to a corporation that is founded by Great Britain, which makes you a foreigner on this land that is coming here to do work, which means that you're an indentured servant, which is why they tell you that you're born in debt in the first place. You see, you've been trained to be a part of this system by all of the things that I've been talking to you about in this live. All of these things play together. It's all one big puzzle piece. And if you can't have a worldly perspective to understand the entirety of what's going on in the world, you're never going to be able to figure out the pieces. Because you're always going to be looking at what's happening to you instead of what's actually happening to the world, which is you. You are the world is you. You are only tending to yourself, which is selfish, which is why you're struggling. You're supposed to tend to others because others are you. Everything that you do is a reflection and a mirroring, and there is a result that is defined by the actions that you take. So you need to learn these things. You need to conduct yourself in a better manner, and you need to move forward with life in a positive manner so that you can actually create that environment. Because right now we're going through the biggest shift that's ever been seen in mankind in these last era. Right now, we're coming into the point where they have to return all of our stuff. Go look on my profile. I've been telling people common law is coming and everything's coming back to the people for 5 fucking years, bro. Why do you think they keep taking my accounts down? Because I'm exposing the things they're trying to keep hidden. Now you have Congress going on national television telling you that they're reviving the system and that they're getting rid of all the administrative courts. The administrative courts is the lowest form of judiciary appointment in the land, and those are admiralty maritime courts that are owned by the British Parliament. That's why they go to the Bar Association, which is the British acclaimed registry. Now, those admiralty courts are nothing but banks that are stealing money out of your estate, and they're being shut down, and you see this on the news that they're going to be shutting down all of the that's already been done. They haven't even, that's the thing. They're trying to hide it from you. Those courts have never had jurisdiction here in the first fucking place. No state court and no fucking no judicial courts have jurisdiction over you or anything in this land. That is a foreign power that is on this land. This is why you see Trump taking possession of the post office. There's the post office and then there's the public post office. The public post office is the one tied to the corporation, the one that's being privatized right now. These are all orders that are coming down. He's not doing these things. These aren't his choices. He has to do these things. Because he's part of that same fucked up family that did all the fucked up shit in the first place. And so in order for him not to be on the chopping block with them, he has to do the things that he's being ordered to do by the international criminal courts. And I have the documents. I have the court cases and everything with him on the docket. So understand that he's pretending to be that person so that you welcome him as the king of America. Which is giving up all of our natural birthrights to this land by electing a foreign king that is tied to the same royal family that's been doing all this shit in the first place, that is tied into the Jewish mafia, that is tied into the Rothschilds, he's tied into everything that's bad. Why do you think he's increasing police immunity? The police are part of that system that are supposed to go with it. He's playing both sides of the fence right now, and he's going to try to make a power move to be the ruler of America. Because this empire is not being stepped up by the people of the land. You want to look into it, Rich? Look, let me show you. Look, where's my... First off, realize that, everybody's tied to Israel. Everybody's tied to all of them are one family. All of them exist together. This is all one big corporation. And that this is ran by these same people. That's why they all have to go to that wall in order to be there. They all have to go to the wall to be a part of this. Because this is this. This is this. That's why it's the symbol for your Federal Reserve. Okay? Now, all of your Congress members are dual citizens of what? Israel. And while being dual citizens of Israel, realize that you're talking about the same Israel that was given to the Rothschilds by the crown. The one that was created. You understand? I can make this real fucking simple. This is the letter that went from the crown to the Rothschilds. It's called the Balfour Document. You can go right on the Rothschilds website and look for this document. It's right on their website. They love it. They brag about it. Okay? So they're not the real people that are supposed to be there. Neither are the Palestinians. They're not from Palestine. They're from different parts of that side of the country. All of them are. They're all from random ass parts. That's why it's illegal for them to get DNA tests there. Because if they got the DNA test there, it would prove, in fact, that none of them are from that land. Now, the thing is that, see, it's the Balfour Document, Balfour Declaration. Okay? So if this happened in 1917 and the war, hey, you know what was happening in Nazi Germany? You know what was happening when Nazi Germany? Do you know, you can go find the speeches that Kipler, we'll call him Kipler. You can go find the speeches that he gave to all of his nation. It's not going to sound anything different than anything you would hear from our presidents here. There was no hate speeches involved in it, but TikTok won't let me show you because they ban me saying that it's inciting riots and shit. Why? Because they're ran by the same fucking people. So this is the thing, is that when you listen to these speeches, he's just like, hey, look, I just want my country to be ran by my people, and these people just showed up out of nowhere and started trying to take things over, kind of the same thing that you see going on in Palestine. Same exact thing was going on in Germany at the time. You know the books that they were burning in Germany? Those weren't books that were Bibles. Those weren't books that were fucking teaching books. Those weren't educational books. Those were pornography. They were burning the pornography that was being distributed by the Ish colony that was in there in Germany. They were providing perversion, and they were giving out same-sex stuff that you see being pumped in our societies now. That's what they were giving to them. The other thing that he did at that time was he passed a law that banned the taxation, because they were lending out money and then taxing it like a super high tax, which was bankrupting the entire economy of Germany. That's why Germany was thrown into a Great Depression, was because of the actions that were being taken by the same people that this guy's working for. You understand? Yeah, it's repeating itself everywhere. And so the reason that you see things popping off over in Palestine right now is because of the fact that since 2013, where is it? Where is my... where is it? Where is it? Where's that court case they try so well to keep hidden? Oh, look. See, check this out. Look. Remember I told you he was on the docket? Chevron got overturned already. Chevron was the thing that gave them the ability to do that shit in the first place. See? What's that right there? Donald Trump, Pope Francis, Vladimir Putin. Okay? Grady. Okay, these are all your world leaders. All of them from every country that are tied to this court case in the International Criminal Courts. This is every single country. Okay? That was every single country. Now, the thing is what you don't know about what they told them to do. was shut this shit the fuck down and get the fuck off the land. So the problem is that Trump is trying to make his own army when he's getting into the position that they allowed him to be put into. He's trying to make his own army. That's why he's giving more immunity to the police officers. The police officers are only here to enforce the policies of that corporation. Law is dealt out by the sheriff. The sheriff is the duly elected of we the people of the land. So that's how you know that he's trading in. That's why you know that he's got different plans, because he's giving more immunity to the people that are given the ability to unalive you that are already doing it in mass. I wish you fucking church people would stop coming in here with your Jesus bullshit. I fear nothing but God and da-da-da. Shut the fuck up. That's exactly why you guys don't fucking help out when we need your help. Is because you're sitting around waiting on somebody to fucking do it for you. And you think, oh, it's God's will. If God thinks that we should be fucked up, I guess we got to be fucked up. No, God gave you everything that you needed to defend yourself. You were given an arm, a leg, an arm, and a head. You were given Allah, and you were given the discernment and the ability to know right from wrong. And you are allowing people to do horrendous things for you like a fucking puppet, waiting for somebody to come and clean shit up for you. And it's disgusting, because you guys are the very reason that this is actually able to take place in the first place. I'm kind of sick of that shit. Oh, if God says that you're falling for the shit, why do you think, bro, why do you think the Catholic Church that was founded by the Ish people, it was founded by them. It was a gift that they gave over, because the Torah is the beginning of all of these religious texts. No matter whether you're talking about Islamic tradition, whether you're talking about Judaism, whether you're talking about Christianity or Catholicism, the Torah was the thing that started all of it. And in the Torah, they tell you that they're going to lie to you. And then they give you a book that tells you that you're a sheep and that you're a fucking slave and that you're supposed to do what the master tells you and da-da-da-da-da, and God will provide for you in the afterlife while you suffer here. Meanwhile, they're telling you that you're goyim, telling you that you're nothing but an animal, a human, and that you have no rights and that they're in charge of everything, and you don't understand that you're falling for their shit. You don't understand that? You're going to sit down there like a good puppet? Well, why do you think they call you useless eaters? Nobody's smart enough to fucking know anything. Yeah, lemmings. Exactly. Why do you think they keep finding all of your children inside of their mosques and their things? And why do you think they have the interviews with their children telling you that, yeah, we severed babies and we drink their blood and we discard the bodies and give it back to you and your fast foods and your da-da-da. Why do you think they tell you all this shit? Bro, I can show you videos of what they're doing to the people in Israel right now. What they're doing to the people in Palestine right now. I have a video of when some black people went over there and they jumped them and beat them and shit like that. Bro, you don't even have to. This is the thing, is y'all all looking across the seas at that fake ass Palestine and Israel right now, not realizing that this is happening in every state around the country. They have their stake in every state around this in this country. And let me tell you something. I'm from New Jersey. You try to go into the Jewish community up in New Jersey and they will beat the fuck out of you, hang you, and fucking leave you strung up for everybody to see. Literally. Children will run up to you and attack you with the adults, and they'll all gang up on you, surround you, and then you disappear. The views aren't dropping because I lie, because I'm lying. We've been sitting at 500 plus views for the last hour. The only time the views dropped was when I showed you church people that
you're following the wrong shit, and everybody ran out of here to try to keep a grip on that fucking matrix that they got you stuck in. Sorry, but I'm not here for fabrication and games. I have facts, I have evidence, I have proof, and I have everything to show you everything that I speak on. You get what I'm saying? So if y'all can't handle the truth, that's not on me. The truth will set you free. Only the truth will set you free. This court case right here was the last one that they just passed in 2024. 2023, right here. Okay, this is why you see the changes happening now. What are they talking about it in it? They're talking about things going from private and public capacity. They're talking about the returning of the estates. They're talking about the returning of the land. They're talking about the engagement in the tribunals that was illegal, that all of the things that the United States corporation is guilty of. You understand? That's what this court case was about. The result of that, let's see. This is, hey, look. Do you notice that before Trump comes over here, all of the politicians are running for the fucking hills? You haven't noticed that yet? That's because they've been trying to hold on to that shit. You haven't noticed that judges are being fucking dismissed all across the country? You haven't noticed that the court systems are being ratified all across the country? You haven't noticed any of this shit? That's because it's being returned. This is why they have the Indian Removal Act taking place right now, because those are also their corporate members, but they want to keep them as slaves. So they're going to remove them from this country and put them back where they had them, where slavery is still a thing, where citizenship is still going to exist. It's not going to be here in America, though. So the Indians and the Mexicans are the fuck out of here, because you can't teach them shit about what their true history is, what their true freedom is, and they don't understand that Indian is a misnomer. They don't understand that Mexican is a misnomer. They don't understand that these are corporate names. That's why they call themselves Hispanic and Latino. Both of the things are, one is a slave of Rome, one is a slave of Spain. Those are what the two words actually mean. So you realize that you have a bunch of people that haven't figured out their history. That's the difference. Is we in America, the melanated community has been finding out our history. And we've been finding out that we're the real Indian and we're the real fucking, we've been finding out all of our shit and we're standing on it and we're not going for the bullshit. And so everybody that's going to stay with that system is going to be moved with that system. That's why there's a mass deportation effort that's coming together right now. That's what that's about. That's why they're flipping the fuck out and everything like that, is because of the fact that as we claim our inheritance back, they don't have anywhere to stand. And they can't accept it because the history that they've been given is a complete fabricated lie that makes them think that they're from here when they're not. And so they're going to have a mass identity crisis when they get shipped off back to India and shipped off back to fucking China and shipped off out to Malaya and shipped out to motherfucking Spain. They're going to have a real fucking identity crisis when this shit starts happening. But we've been trying to warn them. We've been trying to tell them. And if it wasn't for the fact that they were attacking us for trying to give them the truth, we would want them to stay. They're making it so that they're unwanted on the place where the only people that actually got them their freedom in the first place are the people that they're replacing. You go back 3 generations in any one of these Indian, Native American, Mexican families, you go back 3-4 generations and it's all melanated people. And if it isn't, their lineage goes back to everything across seas. Nothing from here. So realize that everything is unfolding. The only thing that's stopping things from unfolding correctly is the fact that we have a bunch of simps running around thinking that they're African Americans that aren't going to be fighting with us. when we should be going down to every police station around the country and forcing them to turn over their guns and badges and giving us their shit and allowing them to stay and allowing them to live, but taking all this fake authority that they think that they've got. We need to revamp this system, not wait for them to revamp their own system, because all they're going to do is try to keep that same system running in our country. You understand? That's the problem. So I've been trying to bring everybody together. That's why they keep taking my profiles from me. That's why they keep taking my information down. That's why, bro, y'all don't understand. We have a bigger fucking society than you think, but I can't get people to share my shit for nothing. But the problem is with that is that there's 300 million people in America. Out of the 300 million people in America, I've reached personally over 100 million of them. I know because I monitored my hashtag the entire time that I was growing it for the last 4 to 5 years. They took it down when I reached about 60 million to 70 million people about almost an entire year ago. They took down the hashtags showing how many people were reached and turned it into how many videos they have. I was already at 60 million before on my last profile that was only at 30,000 people because it was a newer one that I had just created at the beginning of last year. That profile got up to 140,000 people and my views went over 100 million people through that profile and the other one that I had sitting at 40,000 people. This is my fucking like 16th account. If I can get myself on a fucking television, I can get everything moving. Because everybody knows who I am. They've known me for 4 years. You understand? They've known me for 4 to 5 years. I have reached over a third of the general public of the United States. Whether it was giving you documents that taught you how to get the allodial title to your house and breaking that down in full fruition that went viral as fuck. Whether it was me handing out all the shit to get your sovereign citizenship in place. I mean, not sovereign citizenship. Sorry. No, I fucking hate saying that. To get your sovereignty in place, to be seen as a living man and woman. Whether it was me teaching you about all the hieroglyphs and all the ancient fucking knowledge that we have here stored in this land. Whether it was me proving that America is in fact the old world. Whether it was me proving... Over 100 million people know who I am. If I could get on a fucking television and speak to people for 5 minutes, I'd turn this motherfucker inside out. Overnight. You understand? Hey, what up, Queen? Sorry, Queen. They took my last profile from me about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. How can we help, bro? At this point, I'm not really sure, bro. I've tried everything. I tried to make a viral trend, right? I tried to make a viral trend of people going around the country and just buying seeds out of the grocery stores and just planting random seeds so that by this time by springtime, that's coming around, we would have free food and free fruit growing all around the country. That didn't make it very far. I've been trying to provide everything that's necessary for people to be able to move through this easily for about 5 years now. Okay? Oh, I do keep going, my guy. That's why you see me on this profile doing the same exact shit. You notice how I just took you from religion to history, biology, science, astrology, and then into politics and into... Do you realize that I've literally taken you through something that will rewrite your entire life and the way that you view everything in the last 2 hours? Yeah, exactly. They are all connected. All of these things are connected. I do have a YouTube. I download all my lives onto my YouTube. This one probably not, because I've been on here for so long. It's going to take forever to fucking do it. But look, right? For those of you, look, here, I'm gonna help y'all out real quick. I was gonna stay away from this shit, but I guess I'll do it while y'all are in here and shit. Look, for those of you that need help with your status correction shit, I have my own library that I've created that has everything you need on the subject, literally from start to finish, and all of your court documents and all of your templates and everything to get your fucking status corrected, because you need to do it before fucking Trump gets in there and puts the restrictions on the treasurer. Because once he puts those restrictions on, because it's going to be a battle, yo. It's going to be a battle for us to get our shit. He's making it that way. Right now, it's been a civil war. It's been doing nothing but being on paperwork. Okay? Now, this is my library that I've collected on the subject. Okay? And the library that I have on this subject is more extensive than anybody's class or curriculum that you're going to take. It's going to give you everything that you need step by step. This is the thing. I allow people to get access to my library for a $75 donation. Okay? Now, I take that the money I get with that donation, I turn around and I keep roofs over people's heads. I keep food in people's stomachs. I keep clothes on children's backs. I move people around the country that need help being moved from places and things like that. Okay? I help people with these donations. Okay? I don't need your fucking money. I don't even have to offer you this, but I know that everywhere that you're going to go, everybody's going to try to charge you thousands of dollars to get access to this information. I know. I see them do it all the fucking time. I paid it. I paid over 10 grand putting this folder together. Not only 10 grand, but it's also 4 years worth of research into the subjects. There's plenty of fucking documents in here for everything that you need. There's nothing that you can't accomplish with this folder. Okay, this is how you get all of your trust shit in order. This is how you find everything. This is how you put everything together. There's step-by-step manuals. There's 4 different ones of 4 different ways to do it. Just the Bouvier dictionary itself will cost you a couple $100. So will the 3 different Black's Law dictionaries that are in here. You understand? Just those things alone. Okay, so this is the deal. All right. This is the deal. If you want access to my library, all you got to do is send a $75 donation to the Book of Johnson on Cash App or Venmo. Okay? With your Gmail address. It has to be a Gmail address. This is a Google folder. It has to be a Gmail address. Once you have access to this folder, you have it for the rest of your life. You can use these documents for yourself. You can use these documents for your kids when they turn 17. You can use these documents for your brothers, your sisters, your cousins, your aunts, your uncles. It teaches you how to set up your trust. It teaches you how to get your birth certificate done correctly. It teaches you how to establish yourself with the IRS. It teaches you how to do everything that you need to get your estate in order. This is your generational wealth. Okay? Pin the info. All right. Hold on. Let me type it in. Comments. And with Gmail in notes. Do it like that. Bink. Okay? Like this. Pin this comment. There we go. Yeah, it's only for the United States. If you're in a different country, you have to find out what the term for sovereignty is in your country and start looking into that, and you'll find the people that are doing this in your country. This is happening all around the world. Bro, what they're not showing you, bro, United Nations, the UK, right? The UK, they ran the government out of the UK. They ran the government out of Ireland. They ran the government. This has been happening over the last 3 to 4 years, bro. America is the last one that hasn't revolted. Canada is in revolt right now. That's why they're passing it to America. Because America, for some reason, while every other country around the world is gaining their freedom, America is the only one that's still playing this game of citizenship. It's them, Africa, and Britain. That's what they have left. You understand? They've been doing this shit for years. That's why they've been trying to restrict TikTok, is because on TikTok we can see the news that they don't put on the news. You understand? That's why they want to get rid of it. It's not for any other reason than that. So if you want help with your shit and you want the library, my library also has 2 seminars in it. And it has one on private equity by this dude named Rourke, who's the king of private equity. It's got the Ron Gibson fucking seminar to teach you how to get the allodial title to your land. It's got everything. Hey, Robert, you're in the UK. A couple years back, didn't they fucking run the what do they call that out there? The prime minister or something out of your government office? Didn't they chase that dude out of there that just went into the office as soon as he got in there? Thank you, Robert. Thank you. Please tell these people we're the last fucking ones. We're the last ones. We're the only ones that haven't done it. That's why you have drones on our fucking shores. That's why you have different militaries coming over here. It's to assist getting rid of the corporation. It's not to attack us. They've been telling us for like 4 or 5 years that we needed to wake the fuck up. Look, ladies and gentlemen, look. Look. Yeah, it's got your step-by-step, guy. Look. It's got 4 different sections on it. You got your sovereignty manual. Sovereign handbook. Individual sovereignty process. Bink. This will run you through step-by-step. This one runs you through step by step. This is the way that David Straight does it. Okay, this is his process. All right. Now, if you're not comfortable with his process, you got... Because the whole thing is to find the one that you're most comfortable with, that you can express yourself. Now, the redemption manual, however, this is Rourke's shit. This is teaching you all about secured party creditor and private equity. Okay, this is his process. Okay, then outside of that, you also have, let's see, hold on, I gotta change the way this is being viewed. Give me 1 second. Oh, there it is. There's the button I'm looking for. Bink, just like that. All right, look. So now you can see some of the shit, right? Now this one that says freedom documents, right? That's this also has step-by-steps, okay? So when you get the, look, let me tell you something. If you get this folder, don't fucking just start filling out papers. Okay? Don't just start filling out papers. Read the redemption manual. Read the sovereignty handbook. Read the freedom documents. Read Meet the Pale Horse. Is it Meet the Pale Horse? Something about a pale horse. I forget the fucking name of it. Right? But see, there's these other ones that are in here that are section 5, section 4. You get me? Section 3, section 2. That's a whole nother way to do the process. Yeah, behold the pale horse. That's right. Okay. Okay, we got, look, this is my personal library. Okay. I've got everything that you need to know, from your trust documents to your benefits, to your setting up the Treasury Direct account, to the workshops that you need, the jurisdictions that are available. Here's your Magna Carta to explain to you what's going on. Your affidavits of rescission. All these are templates. Okay, all these are templates. All you got to do is download it, change John Doe to whatever the fuck your name is, put your information in, and these are all your court templates and all your private documents. Here's your private equity, here's your liens, here's your affidavit of status, right? Because if you don't want to do it by what's provided in the step-by-step books, you can just go through it and type in the name of all the documents that people tell you about, and I have all of them. How big's the file? It's about 30 gigs. Oh, there's seminars in here. There's videos. There's video seminars on this shit in here. Look, I've got everything. It's got your passport information, your estate setup, how to make your writs for getting rid of people. There's writs of quo warranto. I know you hear about that. Well, the writ for quo warranto, I got several different ways to form that. Everything is in here. How do you download it? You don't download it, my guy. You don't do that. You can't, bro. This is something you want to look at on your computer, not on your cell phone. You can read it on your cell phone if you want to, but in all reality, you're not going to be able to download this on most of your cell phones because this is 30 something gigs worth of shit, bro. I got whole entire video seminars in here. Watch. Look. You get what I'm saying? Well, if your phone's 500 gigs, yeah, you can upload it. But if you're going to upload this and try to do it on your phone, you need to get an app called DocuSign. DocuSign will make it very easy because you can just put your signature on there, put your proper signature on there, and then click on the place where you need to put it, and it'll just transfer it, and you can just bink, 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 bink. Okay? Well, look here, Stirs. The thing is Canada's about to be part of America. So guess what? You'll be able to use this. Now look, so this is the Rourke seminars, right? This is, what's his name? Ron Gibson. This is the guy that you hear David Straight talking about. Bink. Here's his book on land patents. That's the book that David Straight talks about. This is his seminar on it. This is his webinar on it. And these are all the other documents that comes with his shit. You understand? There's nothing. I promise you. I've been at this for 4 fucking years getting this shit together because I'm doing this shit myself. This is my library that I made for you. If you want this, it's a $75 donation. You'll be helping me help other people. All you got to do is send a donation to the Book of Johnson on Cash App or Venmo with your Gmail address in the subject, and you have permanent shit to my library. I just added in, look, 2024 files, right? These are just some random documents that I was finding during 2024 that have to deal with the shit. Okay? Every year I update it just a little bit more with whatever I come across that I don't know about. So you're always going to have a growing library. And the great thing about it is all you do is upload your shit into a PDF thing, fill it out. That's it. You fill it out the way that it tells you to fill it out. You just replace your information on information where they have the John Doe, Jane Doe bullshit. You just exchange that with your shit and print it the fuck out. That's it. It doesn't get much simpler than that. That's for everything. We got literally, because this is my arsenal. Knowledge is power. This is my power right here. You need to learn your laws of contract. Okay? You need to learn how contracts are working and how they come together, because right now you've been giving away so much free shit, it's ridiculous. Okay? You got your freedom documents from my boy Tim. That's his process of getting it done. This is your hold harmless indemnity agreement, right? This is what you bring into court so that the court knows that you're non-combative. Okay? Bro, look, if you want all that fancy shit, this is the thing. This will get you access to all that shit. Look, car. Just type it in. Car. Purchasing car with signature. Then you have Carl Miller's studies. Then you have, okay? That's as difficult as it is. You don't have to go fucking searching for people and sitting for classes and things like that. You just fucking type it in. Because I've already done all the work of getting everything together. This is not the one that has to do with the spiritual stuff. This is just my law library. Okay, this is my law library. So that's your car. You go to the Ron Gibson shit for your house. Okay, now this is you go to Ron Gibson for getting, once you've got the property, you get it. You get it? Okay. No, I'm not going to go in depth about the car, my guy. If you want it, you can get the information. All right. I'm not going to sit here and read these documents. Every time I try to do that shit, TikTok takes my accounts away from me. Okay? So I apologize, but no, I'm not going any further into this than showing you that you can have access to it. Because every time I do, TikTok takes my accounts. Okay? Like, you don't understand, bro. I lose an account with over 100,000 people on it like once a year. You know how annoying that is? You know how much that stops me from getting shit done? So the donation is to the Book of Johnson on Cash App or Venmo. That's my business account on Cash App. That motherfucking that's tied into my trust. Okay, that's tied into my estate. Oh, thank you, Rise 9. I appreciate that, bro. The spiritual files, that's a $50 donation to the Book of Johnson. It's the same thing, same thing, just a different donation. It's a $50 donation, and you'll get access to the spiritual stuff. That's all this. That's this library right here. Bink. That's this one. Okay. Now this is a little bit more focused on the ancient civilizations and historical things, and you'll also get this little PDF that I created because I'm part of Mental Magic Omniverse. This is what I represent. I'm a Moamian, which is the people of the land or the people of the stars, right? And so in this one, you'll find some of the hieroglyphs and the scriptures that were created out of those hieroglyphs so that you can understand what those scriptures were actually fucking talking about, not just some random fucking story that doesn't make any sense to you, right? Okay, so we have, gives you descriptions of the different things in this one, right? And then on top of that, you also get my book that teaches you how to reshape the subconscious. Okay, this is my book, The Kingdom Academy. Okay, that has this will teach you how to reprogram your shit, teach you how to acknowledge the things that you've been programmed by, and then it gives you the new view. Right? Programmed attachment implying need. We break down what things really are so that you're no longer able to get fucking trapped by them anymore. Okay? Redoing your ego, redoing pain. Okay? Learned obsessive subjective separation. If you know what these things really are, you then know how to operate and keep out of them. Okay? Cash App's the Book of Johnson. This is a separate folder. This is a $50 donation. This is all my personal works. This is the things that I write and create and fucking put together. And this is my contribution to the world. The other folder is just all the status correction stuff. Yeah, the Book of Johnson, just like that. Just like that. It's all one word. Bro, stop with that Christian church stuff, my guy. You don't even know what you're talking about. Helios is not a fucking sun god. Okay? Maybe to the Romans are the ones that create gods out of everything. That's why you vote for a president. A vote is something that's an oath that you're taking to a god. That's what a vote is. No, Helios was not a god. Helios is the son of Helios is the son of Cleopatra the Sixth, the twin brother to Cleopatra the Seventh, that was born of Mark Antony. That is who Helios really is. He was considered the savior because of the fact that he took the fucking people from the Americas out of the Roman persecution and took them over to the place that you now consider Egypt and had them restart over there in what you call Kemet. Helios was the one that saved them from Roman persecution. Ever heard that story in a different way? Hey, Scorpion King, make sure you put your Gmail in there, okay? If you don't put your Gmail in, I'm going to send you $1 back requesting your Gmail address, okay? And you're to respond to that $1 with the Gmail address. I will do that because a lot of times people forget to do that. Okay? So if you don't have my folder, you didn't give me your Gmail address. That's how that works. It's very simple, very cut and dry. Everything will be delivered by the end of the day. Oh, there's no rush. There's no rush, Planet Lee. Okay? Okay, well, yeah, if you send a $50 donation, I know it's for the spiritual folder. If you send the $75 donation, I know it's for the national stuff, because that's just where I keep it. Now, as far as the spiritual folder, you're also getting the TikTok curriculum, which you can catch yourself up on the YouTube channel that's posted on my TikTok page. Okay, it'll take you over to the YouTube channel, and you just print out the pages, put them in a binder, get you some notebook paper, and take notes. Okay? These are all the things that we've been going over in this live. This is where okay, so you can build your own little folder of it if you wanted to. Okay? Yeah, that's me. That's me, Lim. Okay? So look, let me explain to y'all how this went for me, right? This all started by me digging into the court system. The court system led me into religion. The religion led me into the history. The history led me into the biology, which led me back into the fucking religion shit. And then that led me back into science, which led me into astrology, which led me back into the fucking courts. All of it is one big puzzle. All of it. It's all tied together. Because the flipping of the religion, by flipping the map and changing and making the religions and putting everything across these, they were able to steal jurisdiction by having people mislabel themselves, which gave up by paper, because everything is ran by contract. That's canon law. Canon law is the law of the air. That's contract. That's the agreements that are between other people. Remember, the word is, in the beginning, there's the word. The word is what? Canon. That's word. That's law. Okay? Contracts that are being created. Okay? And so by doing these things, it's like you can't go through one without going through the other. They're all tied in together. Every single last one of it. Without all of these pieces, only a portion would make sense, and that would hinder you. But by going through all of the things and creating the full circle, it makes it so that you actually unravel the real history. It actually gives you the truth that you're seeking for, and it actually shows you how to get out of it as well. All right. So I got some things I got to do today. Okay. I'll be back later on this evening, and we'll be going over some hieroglyphs, so that I can teach you guys, how to start deciphering these things for yourself. Okay. Because things that I find in them are only going to be things that give you clues to things, because the way that you think isn't the way that I think. But by me providing these things for you, it'll unlock what you already know, because everything is based off of frequency and vibration. And what you're going to find is, when you really get down to the science of all of this, there's only certain frequencies that are available, which means that you're a reincarnation, which means that your frequency is also tied to other frequencies that are made of the same exact material, the same exact frequency, that go all through this thing that you call time. Which means that by unlocking your ability to understand the things that we're going through in that time, that will further unlock other things for you related to that. You get me? So I need you to be able to decipher these things as much as you enjoy me showing them to you, because your eyes are going to provide answers, they're going to provide questions, and they're going to provide thoughts that are not with my frequency. Cash App or Venmo is the Book of Johnson. If you want to do PayPal, do it as a friend. And that's Taboo Bully. TABOOBULLY. Taboo Bully. Okay? That's my PayPal. Mm-hmm. So I love y'all. Have a great day if I don't see you later. And I will catch y'all on the next round. If it won't let you find me on Cash App, here, look. You're probably doing it wrong. It's all one word. It's like this. That's my Cash App, is the Book of Johnson. Okay? You can just go on my profile and click it. And, yeah, Taboo Bully is PayPal. It looks like this. Okay? Yeah, it usually does that stupid shit. It's always trying to change shit around. All right, so for the spiritual shit, it's a $50 donation. For the national stuff, it's a $75 donation. Okay? And hey, let's get it together, people. Time's ticking. Have a great day.